gentlemen, and welcome to McDonald County High School. This is Benji Finsky alongside my broadcast partner Leonard Bauer and our producer engineer Ryan Dasso. We're coming to you live from Anderson, Missouri, where tonight the Monett Cubs will take on the McDonald County Mustangs in a battle of Big 8 rivals. Monett, under the guidance of fifth-year head coach Derek Ewell, is coming off a 47-0 victory over East Newton. McDonald County, under the guidance of Coach Kellen Hoover, is 2-5 on the season, and they are coming off two very tough losses to Cassville and Lamar. A year ago, Monett defeated the Mustangs 18-12 in Week 8, and the Cubs are looking for another victory here tonight. Let me welcome in my broadcast partner at this time, Leonard Bauer. Leonard, we have two teams that are really going in different directions, but the Mustangs are always a tough team to beat here on the road. What must Monett do tonight to come away with another win?
Well, last week the Cubs turned the ball over too many times, and tonight they were able to get by that last week and still beat East Newton handily, but they need to eliminate some of those mistakes tonight, the interceptions, the fumbles, the bad penalties. And we were looking at the line, the rosters here, and this is a huge football team here at McDonald County. They have two players over 300. They have half a dozen in the 280, 290 range. So they've got the size and the muscle to impose their will on the other team. But I guess they just don't have the skill players because they've been unable to beat the really good teams this year. But playing on their own field late in the season, you can bet that they will be inspired. And I think it's their senior night. I see a group of players being lined up down there, and it's their senior night. So a lot of motivation on the part of the Mustangs. The Cubs could get complacent, knowing that their record is much better, and they've beaten teams that have beaten this team. So the Cubs are just going to have to keep their concentration on the game and avoid mistakes, and if they do that, they should come out with another victory.
You know, this is a team in McDonald County that can put some points up on the board. They, even in some of their losses, they've scored 3 or 4 touchdowns. A week ago at Lamar, they scored 28. Unfortunately, they gave up 49. I think the problem at McDonald County this year has been their defense, while their offense has been able to put up some numbers.
Right. With those big linemen, you'd think they could drive the ball down the field some. But I'm guessing that they're lacking the secondary speed and so on to prevent other teams from scoring. And, of course, you have to score more points than your opponent if you want to win.
And Monett's coming off their first shutout of the season. They blanked the Patriots 47-0, a game in which they gave up less than 25 yards of total offense, less than 20, in fact. So the defense is rounding into shape for Monett. Their offense has been steady throughout. Playing on the road, as you said, they need to focus, avoid turnovers. A beautiful new field here at McDonald County, and it's artificial turf, so Monett used to playing in that as they do that all season long at Burrow Fowler.
More and more schools in the area are getting the artificial turf, and that's great because that way you always have good playing conditions. You don't have to be knee-deep in mud, as we did at times in past years, late in the season when the fields would get all dug up. And, yeah, it's a beautiful field here, and I'm sure that they're proud of it.
And they should be. It is a lovely scene here at McDonald County, a perfect night for football, a cloudless sky, a breeze out of the south, but a great night for football for fans and players alike. It's the Cubs, the Mustangs, live from McDonald County. The Home Shield Pest Control kickoff is just 30 minutes away. When we return, Leonard and I will take a look at Week 7 in the Big 8 Conference and also discuss tonight's slate of games. Stay tuned for more of the Monett Cub pregame after this timeout. You're listening to the Monett Cubs live on KKBL and the Talon Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to McDonald County High School and Senior Night. Tonight we will be honoring football, cross country, ROTC, and band seniors. We will start the ceremony tonight with our senior football recognition. Players and parents, when I call your name, will you please step forward? Our first senior tonight, Miss Madeline Bell. She's the daughter of Travis and Kim Bell, and she's been in this sport for 5 years. Her future plans include attending college and getting a master's degree in athletic training. Mr. Junior Tariq, son of Alexia Sakate and Punche Sakate, been in the sport for 2 years, and his future plans include going into the Army. Mr. Jack Teague, son of Val and Chauncey Teague, been in the sport for 10 years, and he plans to go into the workforce for his future plans. Mr. Omar Manuel, son of Osama Manuel and Nelsie Jose, been in the sport for 3 years and plans to attend Crowder College in the future. Matthias Shearer, son of Paul Shearer, Misty Dawn, and the late Elizabeth Deal, escorted tonight by Mr. Richard Deal. Been in the sport for 5 years and plans to go into social work when he graduates. Mr. Tristan Leach, son of Tom and Jody Leach. Been in the sport for 10 years, and his future plans include going to college and then afterwards joining the workforce. Mr. Kip Dreyer, son of Troy and Deborah Dreyer. Been in the sport for 5 years, and he plans to be a pipeline welder in the future. Mr. John Howard, son of William and Teresa Howard. Been in the sport for 6 years, and he plans to run track in college.
The Talon Sports Network covers 3 area high school football teams each and every Friday night. The Cubs are heard right here on 95.9 FM. The Cassville Wildcats can be heard on 97.7 FM. And the Aurora Hound Dogs are on AM 940. Be sure to catch Big 8 Conference football at its best on TSN each and every week of the 2019 season. Just a reminder that this game being brought to you in part by Quick Draw Gun. With hundreds of new and used firearms in stock, Quick Draw Gun is just off Highway 60 in Monett at 601 South Tyler. Tonight's opening kickoff will be sponsored by Home Shield Pest Control. With over 20 years of industry experience, Home Shield Pest Control can tackle any unwanted insect or pest with an affordable, safe, and effective method. Be sure to call Daniel Vineyard at 772-4177. And finally, tonight's first quarter will be brought to you by Crown Double K Realty. When you want to buy or sell a home in the Monett area, rely on someone you've known and trusted for years. Call Whitey Metlock at Crown Double K Realty, just west of Taco Bell on Highway 60 and Kyler. As we said tonight, senior night at McDonald County High School. Players and their parents are spread out on the football field from the 10-yard line to the south to the 15-yard line to the north. And I don't know, this field's a little off-center too, isn't it? It's not pure north and south, is it, Leonard?
I don't think so, Benji. I think west is more like this. I think it runs from southeast to northwest.
Yep.
It was put in parallel to the Highway 71, and that's why I think it's not square with the world. It's square with the highway, but I don't think it's square with the rest of the world.
And, you know, it's a beautiful scene down here, the field down here in the valley, and here in about 2 or 3 weeks, those trees to the west and to the south will be multicolored, and it'll be beautiful down here. But I've done football games down here with storms and fog, and one time fog and came into this valley and just sat here, you know, as it can.
Oh,
there's that cannon.
They're letting us know they have a cannon.
Yes, and I warned you guys about a cannon, and it still got me. So No, I've been down here to a game where you couldn't hardly see the field. Hopefully that won't happen tonight. But a beautiful scene down here in McDonald County. Senior night for band members, football players, cheerleaders, everyone involved in fall sports as well. Well, Leonard, you take a look at the Big 8 conference from a week ago, and there goes the cannon again. And looking back to week 7, Aurora traveled to Hollister. Hollister defeated Aurora 20-6 in that one. Monett all over East Newton, as we said, 47-0. Lamar over McDonald County, 49-28. Mount Vernon traveled to Seneca in what was really the headline game. The Mountaineers won at 21-12. Cassville all over Nevada, 42-14. Marshfield 32, Reed Springs 7, and Springfield Catholic defeated Rogersville 33-14. Leonard, looking back to last week, were there any games that really surprised you in any way?
Well, Marshfield and Reed Spring, I'm not surprised that Marshfield won, but 32-7 is a pretty lopsided score, and Reed Spring has beaten some good clubs this year. We know Marshfield's tough. We played them ourselves, and the Cubs had a really good night that night and handled the Marshfield pretty handily, but that surprised me. The fact that McDonald County scored 29 points or 28 points at Lamar surprises me, but you know, those might have been late scores when Lamar was playing their second unit. But those are the two that, and actually Monett's 47-0 victory over East Newton surprised me. I didn't think it would be that easy for the Cubs.
This week in the Big 8 Conference, Hollister travels to Rogersville in what should be a good ball game. Lamar goes to Nevada. Marshfield goes to Aurora. Monett here at McDonald County. Reed Spring at Cassville in what could be a good ball game. Seneca at East Newton and Springfield Catholic at Mount Vernon. Looking at that schedule, the two games that stick out, Reed Spring at Cassville, Springfield Catholic at Mount Vernon.
Those two games have a lot of implications for conference and district standings. I think Reed Spring has a chance. Well, they're in our district, and they could certainly use a victory over Cassville. Mount Vernon and Catholic. If Catholic beats Mount Vernon, they will tie them for the Eastern Division Championship. Mount Vernon's pretty much got the district #1 seed wrapped up, I think, for our district. But both of those games are good teams against each other, and both games have conference and district implications.
And you talked about district play, Leonard. That's only a couple weeks away now. Mount Vernon currently the #1 seed in Class 3 District 6. Cassville #2, Monett #3, Reed Spring #4, and Seneca #5. If district play were to start tonight, Monett would be hosting Hollister, but then after that it would be two road games, Cassville and Mount Vernon, if they were to win a district championship. So, you know, there's a couple weeks left. Monett just needs to take care of business, let the chips fall where they may, and, you know, try to finish strong going into district. McDonald County, on the other hand, well, they're looking squarely at a first-round date with Webb City, and that's not an enviable place to be in Class 4. McDonald County currently the #8 seed in their district, where Webb City is #1.
Yes, Webb City is back to the old Webb City, the team that has won 11 state championships in about the last 15 years. I think they're ranked #2 in the state, I believe, in Class 4, but that's not an enviable task for anyone to have to go to Webb City in the first round of district and play the Cardinals.
Well, and keep in mind, that's the district that Monett was in a year ago.
Right.
And Monett took on Neosho in the first round of districts a year ago. Neosho currently the #7 seed. Monett dropping back down into classification Class 3. They are in a spot where they can really compete for a district championship. But first things first, the Cubs and the Mountaineers here from Anderson tonight. We're going to slip away here from some of our sponsors. We'll be back with more of our pregame after this timeout.
Been in the band for 7 years. Your proudest moment as a musician was being voted Best Section 2 years in a row. Her future plans include attending college and becoming a dental hygienist. Miss Evelyn Dueñas. She is the daughter of Haley Dueñas Perez, and she's being escorted by her uncle, Milton Dueñas Perez. Been in the band for 7 years, and her proudest moment was being able to make Mr. Wilhelm and Mr. Nimmo laugh at any moment. Her future plans include attending college to become a dental hygienist. Miss Samantha Brace, daughter of Christine Grieve and Jeff Brace. Been in the band for 7 years, and her proudest moment was her solo in the spring concert. Her future plans include becoming a sign language interpreter. Miss Brooke Jensen, daughter of Steve and Rebecca Jensen. Been in the band for 2 years, and her proudest moment as a musician was being able to choreograph so much of the Christmas and spring concerts. Her future plans include going to college to study film direction. Mr. Aaron Lee Matthews Jr., the son of Aaron and Shannon Matthews. Been in the band for 7 years, and his proudest moment as a musician was going to the Sugar Bowl. Future plans include going to college. Miss Aiden Chamberlain, daughter of William and Diana Chamberlain, 7 years in the band. Proudest moment as a musician was winning the Outstanding Percussion Award at the Valhalla Marching Festival. Her future plans include going to college and becoming a music teacher. We would like to finish our ceremony tonight by recognizing our cross-country. First up, Mr. Jackson Bim, son of Paige and Dwayne Bim. 5 years in cross country, and his proudest moment as a runner was beating Garrett at Lamar this year. Future plans include attending MSSU and becoming an officer for the Missouri National Guard. Miss Reagan Wilson. She is the daughter of Billy and Heather Wilson. She's been in the sport for about 3 months now. Her proudest moment as a runner was deciding to take a chance on this sport and ending up with some pretty great friends, coaches, and memories for her senior year. Her future plans include attending college to become an environmental geologist. Next up, Miss Addie Mick, daughter of Michelle Friedman and Chris Mick. She's been in the sport for 4 years, and her proudest moment as a runner was breaking 21s at Cassville during her sophomore year. Her future plans include going to college and becoming a nurse practitioner so that she can make a difference in the medical field. Mr. Tyler Moritz. He is the son of Adam and Connie Moritz.
Back at McDonald County, still about 15 minutes away from tonight's opening kickoff. A reminder that each trip to the red zone tonight for the Monett Cubs brought to you by JMB Trucking Company of Cassville. When you need to deliver results, call JMB Trucking at 847-1307. Later this evening, Leonard and I will be selecting tonight's player of the game, which is sponsored by Crowder College in Neosho, Missouri. With over 50 years of successful graduates, Crowder College is committed to academic excellence. Crowder College, where you are the difference. Tonight, Leonard, the Cubs looking to continue a winning streak, coming off their best defensive performance of the season. A lot of the players really coming into playing into shape and preparing for this final stretch. But that defensive unit a week ago, especially at the back end, played very, very well.
They did. I think that McDonald County may test their pass defense somewhat tonight. They have a quarterback that can throw the ball. They have big linemen that very possibly can protect him. the best thing about the Cubs' defensive against passing this year has been their tremendous pressure they put on the opposing quarterback. They simply haven't allowed the opposing quarterback to set up and, and get off throws far down the field. And I think they will probably continue that tonight, but we shall see.
A week ago they didn't record as many sacks, but they forced the opposing quarterback to throw the ball before he was really set, as you said. And defense played very, very well. And East Newton was never able to get their running game going. Anytime you're a defensive unit, you try to force the other team to be one-dimensional.
Right.
Try to take one part of the game away or the other. And Monett was able to really take away both passing and rushing a week ago. For Monett, on offense, what you try to do is you got to pick your poison. You take away the inside running game or the outside running game.
It's been interesting to see through the season how different teams have concentrated on the inside or the outside, as you point out. But the Cubs have been versatile enough that in the last few games at least, they've been able to have success both inside and outside. And that makes it really difficult for the opposing defense. And then if they get too much concentrating on the run, Carter Brink can always burn them with a pass. So.
You've got Brandon Majors now that's up to 643 yards rushing on the season. Keep in mind, he was an offensive lineman a year ago. He's averaging 5.7 yards per carry, and that's a gaudy number by itself. But then you have Ethan Umfleet averaging 7.2 yards a carry, and then Jamie Gwynn at 8.9. Gwynn up to 458 yards rushing on just 51 carries.
Their average yards per carry is just totally mind-boggling almost. So they've had a great deal of success. And, recently they've been playing against some weaker defenses, but they did that against some very strong defenses too.
They really did, and very balanced attack, especially on the ground. And we'll see if the Cubs can continue that trend here tonight. The McDonald County High School Marching Band on the field. We're just seconds away from tonight's national anthem. We will slip away here from some of our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll set the stage for tonight's game between the Cubs and the Mustangs. Back with more of the pregame after this timeout.
Tonight's color guard is commanded by Cadet Sergeant Major Lee. Members of the color guard are from right to left: Cadet Elkins, Cadet Lee, Cadet Griner, Cadet Metcalf, Cadet McDonald, and Cadet Thacker. Members of the cannon crew are Cadet Lopez, Cadet Hurl, and Cadet Nunnally. After the national anthem, the cannon will sound. Please remain standing and quiet for the duration of the ceremony.
Back at McDonald County High School, just moments away from tonight's opening kickoff, the Monett Cubs coming onto the field as we look on as they march in from the south end zone. Monett will be in their traveling white uniforms trimmed in gold numerals, purple helmets with the traditional M on one side, the number on the other. We still await McDonald County. They're in their home black uniforms, trimmed in red and white. And I recall 2 years ago where the first responders were out to the south end zone, and you can hear the sirens in the distance as well. That's
right.
A signal that the Mustangs are on their way.
That's an impressive welcome for their team.
It really is. Got a fire truck and 3 or 4 police officers and first responders out there. As we said, a perfect night for football here tonight. The wind coming out of the south, southeast.
Oh, and fireworks also.
Yeah, not a cannon there. That's a little firework action there. Doing it up right here at McDonald County on senior night down here in Anderson, Missouri. Leonard Monett coming in obviously as a heavy favorite. The Cubs offense continues to produce 34.3 points per game. Their defense, their average now down to 16 points per game. So this is a team that's outscoring their opponents by over 18 points a game. And on paper, they are the favorite, but no game is ever won on paper. They've got to come out to produce tonight.
Exactly. So, who was it? Georgia was a favorite over
South
Carolina heavily last Saturday too, but didn't turn out that way. So we're reminded frequently that games are not played on paper, they're played on the field, and the human element comes into it. Motivation, momentum, all of those things play a part, and that's what makes it exciting, and that's why we're here to witness this and bring the account of the game to our listeners.
Absolutely, and hopefully a lot of folks back in Monett tuning in on KKBL tonight. I misspoke earlier. The Mustangs in their home red uniforms trimmed with white numerals. They have white pants with red piping down the side. So their numbers, big and bold, will be easy for us to see.
I was thinking of that. I know our listeners get tired of us apologizing for not being able to read the numbers, but if you look across the field at the Monett numbers, this field is not very well lit anyway, and it's impossible almost to tell the Monett's numbers on the far side of the field. So there will be numerous times tonight we'll say, you know, that Monett player, we just can't read his number.
That's exactly right. And looking across now, you know, it's nearly impossible to see the numbers. Those gold numbers on the white jerseys.
Right.
Very,
There's a little contrast, and they're too close together. It's numbers like 6 and 8 and 2 and 5 you can't tell apart. If it's 1 and 4, you can read that. But the numbers, you know, 6, 8, and 9, 2 and 5, 3, it's hard to tell which is which, you know, from a distance. So we will have that problem tonight.
As we said, both teams out on the field, on the sidelines, just seconds away from our captains getting together. And the opening coin toss is just seconds away. A good-sized crowd that has filtered in here at McDonald County on the homestand. A nice gathering down from Monett as well as we look across.
Right.
You know, and then beyond the Monett crowd is Highway 71.
Used to be Highway 71. It's 71 bypass now, I guess, or I-49 bypass.
Yeah, so traffic beyond there. But a good-sized crowd here in what is the final home game for McDonald County. They'll travel to Seneca to wrap up the regular season next week, so not a long trip for McDonald County, where Monett will be back home against Nevada.
Benji, a couple things I wanted to point out. If Springfield Catholic can beat Mount Vernon tonight, the East Division of the Big 8 is going to wind up in a 3-way tie for first. And if Lamar or Cassville can beat Lamar next week, the West Division of the Big 8 is going to wind up in a 3-way tie. That's kind of ironic, and I think there's a good, well, I don't know if Springfield Catholic can handle Mount Vernon, but the West Division is almost definite if Cassville can beat Lamar, it's going to be Cassville, Seneca, and Monett in a three-way tie.
Well, you know, we'll see how that plays out over the next 2 weeks. But Monett, who had a couple early losses, a couple tough losses, have really turned it around in recent weeks and have played some really good ball. The coin toss in the air. As we await the officials, it appears that they're talking over with the Cubs. And it appears that, well, we'll see here. I'm not going to speculate. Monett did win the toss. I'm almost certain of that. They did, and they are going to receive and defend the south goal. And the Mustangs will kick it away, defending the north goal. The breeze, not a major factor tonight. And Leonard, you know, you talked about the fact there's not a flag here, not an American flag on the flagpole. They did have the color guard.
Right.
So as we look to the goalpost and look at the strips hanging from the goalpost, not a whole lot of breeze right now. What little breeze there is out of the south. But just really a nearly perfect night for football tonight for player and for spectator as we get ready here. Go ahead.
Benji, it was hard to read the captain's numbers, but I think for the Cubs, J.R. Cavazos, Gunnar Bradley, Chet Butterworth, and I believe Wes Merriman. I believe those were the captains tonight for the Cubs. But even at midfield, it's hard to read those numbers here.
Brand new field here at McDonald County. Big Mustang that goes from the 44 to the 44 out in the middle of the field. Multicolored, multi-green, each 5 yards. Numerals down outside each hash mark, white numerals trimmed in red. Really a beautiful field, black end zones with the word Mustangs imprinted on it. The Mustangs ready to kick it away as we're just seconds away from action here tonight, as Allison will kick it away, a left-footed soccer-style kicker. 2 Cubs back deep. Glad to have you along from Anderson. It's the Cubs and the Mustangs, and the kickoff is in the air. It's a short kick that comes down to the 25, return to the 30, as Gunnar Bradley dives out to the 34, and that's where the Cubs will take over 1st and 10.
Micah Williams and Levi Helm on the stop for the Mustangs. Cubs are going to put the ball in play at their own 35-yard line.
A good spot there for the Cubs as they take over 1st and 10. Their quarterback is Carter Brink. The senior quarterback will line up under center, as Brandon Majors will be the lone tailback. Now motion, pitch goes left side, Umfleet to the 35, sidesteps a tackler, puts his shoulder down, and crashes out across the 40 for a gain of nearly 8 yards.
I'm trying to get the number of the defender. I believe number 60. That's Alberto Valdez that knocked Ethan Umfleet out of bounds after a gain of 7.
Yeah, he must have stepped out of bounds at the 41. 2nd and long 3. Here's a dive play. Majors, he'll have the 1st down and more. Still on his feet as he rumbles down inside the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 Cubs. And that 1st down brought to you, as always, by Crown Power and Equipment north of Monett on H Highway.
Terrific run by Majors, brought down finally by Michael Williams, but not until he got fairly deep into Mustang territory at their 37-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Cubs from the Mustang 37.
Cubs come out with a wide receiver split to the left. Option play near side. Here's Majors with running room. He's to the 30 and more, and finally he stumbles down at about the 25, and that's going to be enough for another Cub 1st down.
He was tripped up, if the kid will just turn his body so I can see, by number 22. That's Keegan Driscoll of the Mustangs. But Majors fell forward 5 yards after Driscoll tripped him up.
That's going to be a name you call a lot tonight. Driscoll's one of their leading tacklers on that defensive unit. 1st and 10 for the Cubs. The ball at the 25-yard line. Brink will work under center. He'll pitch left side to Umfleet with running room to the 20, to the 15, and run out of bounds near the 10. That's plenty for another 1st down, brought to you by Crown Power and Equipment north of Monett on H Highway. Southwest Missouri's Case IH dealer. Discover the power of red.
Levi Helms on the push out there, but not until Umfleet had picked up another first down for the Cubs. The Cubs are relentless as they move down the field. They have 1st and 10 from the Mustang 11.
Brink looks over the defense and sets his front. Jet sweep coming near side across the 10.
Jamie Gwynn.
And he dives or leans into the end zone for the touchdown. Gwynn from 11 yards out, and the Cubs take an early 6-0 lead, and that touchdown brought to you by the law offices of Randall, Mastery, and Randall. If you need an extra point or two from a trusted lawyer, call Randall, Mastery, and Randall at 235-8688. PAT upcoming. Alex Salas on to attempt the kick out of the hold of Brink. Snap, a low snap. The kick on its way. It's high enough, it's long enough, and it is good. Brink did a great job taking care of that low snap. 10:36 left, first quarter action. Monett on top 7-0. That extra point brought to you by Monett Glass and Mirror. If your kitchen window looks like it's been hit by a middle linebacker, or your car windshield was just cracked by a successful point after touchdown, call Monett Glass and Mirror, where if it shatters, it matters. Just a reminder to our listeners, Leonard and I, Ryan, all out in the great outdoors tonight as we're sitting in front of the press box, but unfortunately sitting behind the lights. So our being able to read spots throughout the night may be quite a challenge, to say the least.
Yes.
Cubs score within the first 90 seconds, and Leonard, it's very obvious where the Cubs could have some success tonight, hitting the edges.
Well, or going up the middle.
Yeah.
Brandon Majors had 2 runs, both over 10 yards. Looks like the Cubs at this point can do whatever they wish to on offense. Now let's see if they can stop the Mustangs on defense.
Salas to kick it away. It's teed up at the 40. Alex spins it in the air. It's a end-over-end kick that comes down to the 5. Return set up to the near side, and a big hit. A missed tackle, however. Return out across the 20 to about the 22.
Finally brought down by Gunnar Bradley. I'm not sure of the Monett defender who made first contact. He didn't bring the ball carrier down, but he did slow him up and kept it from being a very long return. The ball is returned out to the, 17-yard line?
22.
No, 22, okay. Sorry.
Cole Martin,
Right.
a quarterback for the Mustangs. Martin, a 5'11 sophomore. He'll work out of the shotgun, takes the snap, looking to pass, looks right, looks left, now hit, and will be brought down at about the 20, so the Cubs get a quarterback sack on the first play on this drive.
I believe that Ray Vialta may have made first contact on that sack. Then he had a couple of other Cubs that helped him out, so we'll give him credit for first contact. 2nd and 12 for the Mustangs.
From the 20-yard line, Martin will work out of the shotgun. Takes the snap. He'll give to his tailback up the middle. He goes. I believe that was Tyrick. Tyrick with a Gary out to about the 23, 24-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 8 for the Mustangs.
Brandon Majors and Cole Davis on the stop there for the Cubs. Bring it up 3rd and 8, as you pointed out.
Junior Tyrick, 5'11", 175-pound senior, picked up about 4 yards on the play. 3rd down and long, clock rolling with 9:15 left. First quarter action, Monett on top 7-0. The Mustangs come out with 2 receivers wide to the near side, 1 wide right. Out of the shotgun, Martin looking to pass, fires it near side, had his man, but it went through his hands. That time the pass intended for Michael Williams. He dropped it. It would have been close to a first down. Instead, it's 4th and 8.
You're right, that ball was right in his hands. Trevon Price was there on the defense, but he couldn't touch the ball. The ball went right in the receiver's hands. He should have caught it, but he didn't. It would have been a first for the Mustangs. 4th down and 8.
Junior Cavazos drops deep. The punter is Bailey Lewis, standing at his own 10-yard line. Snap back is a good one. Left-footed punter booms a high kick, but it will come down near midfield. It takes a Mustang bounce to the Cub 40, now down to the 39, and that's where the Cubs will take over 1st and 10 after a punt that covered 36 yards with no return.
It was an impressive looking punt because it was so high, but it wasn't as long as it might have been, and it did get a good roll after it hit, so a very effective punt as it turns out. But the Cubs in good field position, 1st and 10 from their own 39.
Cubs with their first drive, it began at the 35, this one from the 39. Brink will work under center. He'll take the snap, he'll run the option, pitches it late with one running room. That's Gwynn to the 50. He's into Mustang territory and then knocked out of bounds near the 35. We'll see where they spot him down, but plenty yards there for a Cub first down.
Finally knocked out of bounds by Levi Malone, but a big gain for Jamie Gwynn. He's touched the ball twice now, scored a touchdown the first time and gets a big gain on this carries. Cubs again are in Mustang territory at their 36-yard line, 1st and 10.
That first down brought to you by Crown Power and Equipment north of Monett on H Highway. You'll find the best deals on new and pre-owned equipment at Crown Power. On first down, here's a jet sweep to Umfleet, running left. He's to the 30, to the 25, and then banged out of bounds near the 20, but that's a gain of 14 yards and a Cub first down.
Trying to get the tacklers numbers. Driscoll, Keegan Driscoll, and I think Gabe Sanchez on the stop for the Mustangs.
Yeah, Michael Williams in there as well. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Brink under center will give on a dive play right up the middle. Goes Majors. He stood up after a gain of about 5 yards.
A gang of Mustangs, or a herd of Mustangs on the stop, I guess we should say. Garrett Grix and Junior Eliam leading the way.
2nd down and 5 for the Cubs as they come out with a wide receiver. Lynch wide to the right. Slot to the right side as well. Brink under center will give on a jet sweep, and that's Gwynn, I believe, to the 10, and puts his head down, drives to about the 1-yard line, and that'll be enough for a Cub first down and set up 1st and goal.
Another tremendous run for Jamie Gwynn, and he just was denied the end zone. It's going to bring up 1st and goal for the Cubs from the Mustangs 1-yard line.
Inside 8 minutes left, first quarter action. Monett looking for their 2nd touchdown of the game. Brink, quarterback sneak into the end zone. Touchdown Cubs. I wait for the signal, and there it is. Touchdown Monett. At the 7:50 mark, the Cubs now lead 13-0.
That was a slow signal from the official. It was obvious that Brink had penetrated 2 to 3 yards past the goal line, and they still didn't give it, but finally they gave him the touchdown.
Cubs on top 13-0 with the PAT upcoming. Alex Salas on to attempt the kick. Out of the hold of Carter Brink. Snap back, ball down, the kick up. It's high enough, it's long enough, and it is good. 7:50 left, first quarter action. Monett on top 14-0. And a reminder that all Monett Cub touchdowns brought to you by the law offices of Randall, Mastery, and Randall. Be sure to give them a call at 235-8688. The extra point brought to you by Monett Glass and Mirror. If your kitchen window looks like it's been hit by a middle linebacker, or your car window was just cracked by an errant pass, call Monett Glass and Mirror, or if it shatters, it matters. A reminder that every trip into the red zone brought to you by JMB Trucking Company of Cassville. When you need to deliver results, call JMB Trucking at 847-1307. And finally, a reminder that this first quarter being brought to you by Crown Double K Realty. When you want to buy or sell a home in the Monett area, rely on someone you've known and trusted for years. Be sure to call Whitey Matlock at Crown Double K Realty. Salas on to kick the Home Shield Pest Control kickoff here. After successfully tacking on the PAT, the kick is a low line drive that skids inside the 5 and into the end zone, so it'll be a touchback. And that time really fortunate for Junior Tariq that he did let it go, as the Mustangs will have it after the touchback.
And it just dawned on me that Carter Brink was being kind to the other backs by taking that 1 yard run there. That would have reduced their yards per carry average. You know, all the other backs are average over 6 yards per carry. And
well, that's one good thing. And another good thing is Coach Shule won't need to hear you talk about a quarterback sneak either. So there's two positive. Win-win.
Best play in football.
Don't tell the Chiefs that after Patrick Mahomes got hurt on
Hey, he got the first, didn't he? I can't help it if he's a wuss.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Here's a handoff to a tailback. A flag comes out late here. Tariq wrapped up after a short gain. Yeah, you know, I think Mahomes is probably one of the toughest guys on their team. But hopefully, I guess they've said that he's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks potentially. So hopefully.
Ray Vialta and Cole Davis on the stop, and looks like there's a penalty on the Cubs.
Yeah, there's a penalty. The flag was thrown on the near side, well away from the play, but a penalty that's going to be marked off. It appears to be a 10-yard penalty. So that will be enough for a Mustang first down, their initial first down of the contest, as the Mustangs will have it 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line. Their quarterback, Cole Martin, works out of the shotgun. Receivers split to both sides. Martin will take it, and he'll flip it near side. Has a receiver with room. A nice catch and run by Trent Alec as he's able to get out across the 40-yard line.
That's another first down for the Mustangs, I believe. Great tackle there by Carter Brink. If he had missed that tackle, it would have been 6 for the Mustangs. Carter was the last thing between the Mustang who had received that short pass and the goal line. So great tackle by Carter Brink.
1st and 10 Mustangs on a nice catch, pass, catch, and run. Flags come out, whistles stop this play before it gets going. So you look potentially for an offside or an illegal procedure here. It is encroachment or offside against the Cubs.
2 penalties already here against the Cubs. That's helping the Mustangs maintain this drive. It's going to be 1st and 5 for the Mustangs.
From the 47-yard line, as they break huddle, wide receiver Driscoll goes wide to the right. 2 receivers to the near sideline. Jet sweep going to the right side. That's Alec. Alec's hemmed up and knocked down. He'll lose a yard, maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 2nd down.
Alec had nowhere to go. The Cubs had all the lanes filled. He wanted to turn it up outside, and there was just nowhere to go. Junior Villa, one of the 3 Cubs that finally polished him off after a loss of about a yard. It's going to bring up 2nd and 6 for the Mustangs.
An important drive here for McDonald County as they trail by 14. This nothing more gives their defensive unit an opportunity to rest somewhat. 2nd down and 5 from the 47-yard line as the quarterback Martin takes the snap, back to pass, throws over to the right side, and it is incomplete as the low pass intended for Eliam skipped to him, and it brings up 3rd down and 5.
Eliam was actually in a little bit of a channel there. He was open, but the pass was just low, and as you pointed it out, he caught it on the bounce. But it would have been a first down for the Mustangs if it had been on the money. 3rd and about 6.
So the Patriots, after getting 5 free yards on an offside, face 3rd down and a long 5. Martin gets a high snap, setting up a screen. It's tipped and falls incomplete. That one could have been intercepted. It could have been caught, but it falls to the turf, bringing up 4th down and 5.
I think it was Junior Villa got his hands up and tipped the ball up in the air, and it could have been intercepted, but fell harmlessly to the turf. So it brings up 4th and 6 for the Mustangs and a punting situation.
Cubs send 2 men back this time as the punter, Lewis, stands at about his 35-yard line. Snap back is a good one. The left-footed kicker gets it away into the breeze. A high kick, fair catch called for, and received by the Cubs outside the 25-yard line.
That was a difficult catch for Ethan Umfleet. He kind of bumped into one of his own players as he was catching it, but he did manage to bring it in safely. I'm anticipating a fumble there possibly, but Umfleet did a good job of bringing it in.
He actually did muff it, but he fell right on top of it.
From my vantage point, I couldn't tell. I thought maybe he had, but he had the ball at the end of the play.
He sure did, and you can tell the wind is picking up, and the flag is up now, by the way.
It
Leonard.
is, yes.
Here's a Cub first down play, pitch near side, comes to Gwynn. Made one man miss, but couldn't make the second miss as he's run out of bounds near the 29. That'll be a gain of about 3 yards.
Jamie ran over number 15. That is Jack Teague at that point, bringing him down, but it was more Jamie running over Teague than Teague tackling Jamie.
Second down, we'll call it a long 7 from the 29-yard line as the Cubs come out with a double wing look. Wide receiver Arnold Cavazos near side. Option play, here's Majors who pounds off left guard and continues to fall forward near first down yardage, maybe about a foot short. Looks to be third down and less than a yard.
Michael Williams on the stop for the Mustangs after a good run by Brandon Majors.
The line judge on the far side is saying first down. So
they're moving the chain. So yes, they gave them a first down.
Boy, he was a good foot short, I believe, but the Cubs will take it. First down, Monett from the 36. Dive play up the middle it goes. Brandon Majors with good running room as he pounds out to about the 45 for a gain of 9.
Majors again, this time brought down by number 68. That is Garrett Grix for the Mustangs. But a run of a little 9.5 yards by Majors is going to bring up second and a short 1 for the Cubs.
This offense is clicking on all cylinders right now as they scored 2 touchdowns and looking to drive for another. Carter Brink under center, back to pass, flips it over the middle. Umfleet with room to the Mustang 40. He could go down that left sideline, 30, 25, 20, and spun down finally near the 16-yard line. A big play there for the Cubs as they hit the red zone again, brought to you by JMB Trucking of Cassville.
Finally brought down there by number 50, Levi Helm. A great move there by Umfleet to pick up 10 so extra yards after it looked like he might be tackled.
Ball resting at the 16-yard line. As Brink sets up shop, he takes the snap. He gives to Majors. Up the middle he goes and spins his way to about the 10. That'll be good enough for a 6-yard gain. It'll be second down and 4.
Michael Williams on the stop for the Mustangs, but a gain of about 7 for Majors.
Ball resting just inside the 10-yard line. Second down for the Cubs. Monett on top 14-0 as the clock rolls with 3:35 left here in the first quarter. Wide receiver now split wide to the right, Junior Cavazos. Brink takes the snap. He'll pitch it late. It's to Gwynn, who breaks a tackle and is able to go forward inside the 10, down to about the 9. He'll pick up a yard. It'll bring up third down for the Monett Cubs.
Looked as if that was going to be a loss for the Cubs. Gwynn was hit about 5 yards deep in the backfield, managed to shake that tackler off and get back to the line of scrimmage and even gain a half a yard. So 3rd and 3.
Tell you what, you might see a big dose here of Majors between the tackles. We'll see. Motion from right to left. And here's Majors right up the middle he goes. Pounds down to about the 5-yard line, and that should be enough for a first down for the Cubs. And that first down brought to you by Crown Power and Equipment north of Monett on H Highway.
A number of Mustangs in on the stop, but Junior Eliam was the last one up off the ground, so we're going to give him credit for that tackle, but he had lots of help, as it takes a lot of defenders usually to bring Brandon Majors down.
Cubs looking for their third score of the quarter. First and goal from the 5. Brink takes the snap, gives to Majors. Up the middle he goes and into the end zone. Touchdown Cubs. 2:11 left, first quarter action, and Brandon Majors scores the Cubs' third touchdown of the quarter. It's Monett 20 and McDonald County nothing. Alex Salas on to attempt the PAT. That touchdown brought to you by the law offices of Randall Mastery and Randall. If you need an extra point or two from a trusted lawyer, be sure to call them at 235-8688. PAT on its way. It's high enough, it's long enough, and it is good. And that extra point brought to you by Monett Glass and Mirror. Be sure to call Monett Glass and Mirror, where if it shatters, it matters. The upcoming kickoff brought to you by Home Shield Pest Control. With over 20 years of industry experience, Home Shield can tackle any unwanted insect or pest with an affordable, safe, and effective method. Be sure to call Daniel Vineyard at 772-4177. Reminder that this game being brought to you in part by Quick Draw Gun, featuring Quick Draw Laser, custom laser engraving and marking right here in Monett. Call 354-8633 for more information. And finally, first quarter tonight being brought to you by Crown Double K Realty. When you want to buy or sell a home in the Monett area, rely on someone you've known and trusted for years. Be sure to call Whitey Matlock at Crown Double K Realty, just west of Taco Bell on Highway 60 in Kyle.
Benji, it's nice to see Old Glory waving now from the flagpole. We talked about the fact that it wasn't there, and I bet whoever's supposed to put it up simply forgot. But it's up there now and waving in the strong breeze.
Kickoff on its way down to the 5-yard line, and great coverage from the Monett Cubs that time as the return ends abruptly at the 15.
And a great tackle. I got to get this number. I think it's Gunnar Bradley. Yes, It is Gunnar Bradley. Great tackle there, pinning the Mustangs deep inside their own, well, we'll call it at the 15-yard line.
You know, Gunnar Bradley has been a leader on special teams throughout the year, and he is coming up big tonight. 2:06 left here in the first quarter. The Cubs on top 21-zip. McDonald County trying to get something going here as their quarterback takes the snap and gives on a dive play. Up the middle it goes, and the Cub defense ready after a gain of just 1 yard.
There were a couple Cubs in on the play, but I think Junior Villa made the first contact. Yes, Junior Villa is the one who made first contact on that. Gain of 1 on the play, 2nd and 9 for the Mustangs.
Yeah, that ball carried by Jack Teague. Teague, a 5'11", 175-pound senior, with his first carry of the evening. Teague is the tailback as McDonald County comes out with 4 wide receivers. Cole Martin out of the shotgun, takes the snap, looks left, throws left, and a beautiful catch out here, a one-handed catch by Trent Alec, and that'll give the Mustangs a first down at the 32.
Trayvon Price almost got a hand on the ball. He jumped at it, and that could have been enough to distract the receiver, but the receiver did a good job of not being distracted, pulling it in, and getting a 1st and 10 for the Mustangs at the 32-yard line.
Well, that was a nice combination route there by the Mustangs as they had 2 receivers on this side. A good pass and catch there. 1st and 10 Mustangs. Martin takes the snap. He'll give on the handoff to Teague, who runs right side and is knocked down after a gain of a couple. It'll bring up 2nd down and long.
Corbin McCulley on the stop for the Cubs on that play. Gain of 1, 2nd and 10, or 2nd and 9. My math's not all that great.
Yeah. You taught English though, right? You taught English. I'll let you go on that. Second and 9 for the Mustangs. Martin out of the shotgun, and he'll throw it right side, and there's Trent Alec again. And Alec struggling forward, gets to about the 35. It'll be a short gain. It'll bring up 3rd down and long for McDonald County.
I think that tackle was made by Ethan Umfleet. It's on the far side of the field, and there was a lot of traffic there. Completed pass, but only gain of about 3 yards.
And that takes us to the end of the first quarter. Our score, Monett 21, McDonald County nothing. We'll be back with second quarter action after this timeout.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to thank our sponsors for tonight's game. Cornerstone Bank of Southwest City, Harvest Bank of Anderson, First Community Bank of Goodman, Freeman Health System, McDonald County Telephone Company, and McDonald County Internet Services. Thank you to all our sponsors.
Back at Anderson, Missouri, Benji Finsky, Leonard Bauer, Ryan Dasso with you. Glad to have you along here. Week 8 in the Big 8 Conference. Monett on top of McDonald County, 21-0. And we enter the second quarter, which tonight is brought to you by Cox Health Monett. Cox Health, the official sports medicine provider for Monett High School athletics. 12 minutes reset on the clock. We move into the second quarter. McDonald County facing 3rd down and 6. Martin out of the shotgun with time. Steps up in the pocket, now scrambles and hit from behind, and down he goes.
Cole Davis, I believe. Yes, number 24, Cole Davis on the stop.
That was a coverage sack that time.
Yes, the quarterback had lots of time and just couldn't find a receiver and trying to roll to his left, and Davis ran him down and caught him, bringing up 4th down for the Mustangs.
Loss of 3, 4th down and 9. Punter is Bailey Lewis, standing at his own 20 with the wind at his back now, so those high punts will gain some distance. Kickoff away, or the punt away, is a good kick. Back to the Cub 28, and a reverse set up there coming near side. That's Umfleet. He gets across the 35 to the 40 and out to the 42. Good hard run there by Umfleet, gives the Cubs good field position.
And a good hard tackle by number 15. That is Jack Teague. Flag on the play.
That was a 39-yard punt with a 13-yard return, but we wait for the signal here. It was probably post-possession. It's going to be a personal foul against the Cubs, and that'll be marked off from the end of the play, it appears. So from the 42, it'll go back to the 27. So Cubs will start with some of their poorest field position of the night.
Yes, not all that bad, but it's the worst that they've had up to this point.
Cubs now working into the wind, although Brink only throwing the ball 1 time so far tonight. Cubs have done their damage on the ground. Brink now looks to throw into the wind, has his man, but it falls incomplete at the 45. A good throw there that just was not able to come up with it on the far side.
The ball was where it had to be. I believe that's Junior Cavazos.
It is.
And the ball had to be high to get over the defender, and Junior got his hands on it, but he couldn't bring it down. But a good pass from Carter. 2nd and 10.
So just as I said, the Cubs doing most of their damage on the ground. Brink goes back to pass. 2nd down and 10 from the 27. Clock stopped with 11:13 left here in the second quarter. Monett on top 21-0. Brink will give on misdirection to Gwynn, running right side to the 25 and somersaults his way to about the 28 or 29-yard line. There'll be a short gain. It'll bring up third down for Monett.
I think that was number 1, Trent Alec, who did a great job of not letting Jamie Gwynn juke him out and holding that play to almost no gain. Third and about 9.
You know, you talk about all the size for the Mustangs.
It's not on
Trent
the field.
Alec, he does not have that. He comes in at 160 pounds in the program, probably more like 145. Brink back to pass, throwing deep down the middle. It's laid out there and it's knocked away at the last second. The pass intended for Lynch, but good coverage downfield. It'll bring up fourth down in a punting situation.
Beautiful throw by Carter Brink. The ball was on the money, but Lynch was in the middle of a couple of Mustangs, and they managed to knock it out of his hands. But a great pass by Carter Brink.
Brink really threw 2 very good balls on that series and has nothing to show for it except a couple of incompletions. Cubs to kick it away. Snap back is a good one. A kick away, a spiraling kick that is fair caught at the Mustang 40-yard line. So you're looking at a 10, 20, 32-yard punt with no return. So a good effort there by Umfleet into the wind. And the Mustangs will take over in good field position at their own 40.
Yes, this is the best they've had tonight. Trent Alec did a good job of fair catching that ball for the Mustangs and setting them up with good field position at their own 40.
McDonald County down by 21. They take over with 10:25 left in the second quarter. As we go across the 7:30 hour, a reminder that you're listening to Monett Cubs on KKBL 95.9 FM. Here's a jet sweep running near side, and that is Tariq. Tariq able to plow to the 42 for a gain of a couple.
Tanner Wright on the stop for the Cubs. A gain of a couple, 2nd and 8.
You know, the Mustangs are trying to do some really good things. They've had some good opportunities, some good throws, a couple good runs, but
they've
the Cubs
got some talent.
They do.
Yes.
And the Cubs defense, you know, really playing well thus far. 2nd down and 8 as Martin will work out of the shotgun. He takes the snap, gives on the dive play, and this time the Cubs waiting for Tariq. And that's going to be a tough chance for any Mustang runner tonight between the tackles. So Monett scored their first 3 possessions. They punted in their 4th. Back out onto the field with their offense with 8:51 left here in the second quarter. Cubs with those 3 scores lead at 21-0.
Benji, I bet our listeners can hear the wind blowing through our microphones. It's picking up here.
It really is. And remind them that we are in the great outdoors here tonight. Here's a dive play between the tackles that goes, and Majors gets up from the bottom of the pile after he gains about 3 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7 for the Cubs.
For the Mustangs, number 66, who I don't have on my program, unless it's 68, which would be Garrett Grix.
I think that's who it was.
Yeah,
second,
68.
2nd down and 7. Option play, dive play goes to Majors again, and he's able to pound it outside the 30 to about the 32. The Cubs trying to take advantage of the absence of Tristan Leach. You talked about him in the pregame, 6'6", 330. He's on the sideline. I noticed he was injured earlier in the game. A gain of about 6 yards on that play. 3rd down and 1.
Jack Teague and Garrett Grix again on the stop. 3rd and 1, as you point out.
Cubs come out with a wide receiver to the near side. On 3rd down, Brink takes the snap, gives to Majors, and he'll have the first down as he pounds out to about the 39-yard line. And that first down brought to you by Crown Power and Equipment north of Monett on H Highway. Meet the factory-trained pros of Crown Power.
Junior Eliam on the stop for the Mustangs, but not until the Cubs had produced another 1st and 10, this time at the 39-yard line of the Cubs.
Cubs break huddle with 7:11 left here in the second quarter, on top by 21 points. From the 39-yard line, here's a pitch going right side to Gwynn. Cuts it up to the 40, puts his head down, and then spins out to about the 43. He'll pick up 3, maybe 4 yards. It'll be second down.
Trent Alec on the stop for the Mustangs. Again, a good tackle. If Gwynn had got by that tackle, he could have gained a lot of yardage, but Alec has done a good job of bringing Jamie Gwynn down on that wide sweep to the right side.
Second down and 6 for Monett as they have it at their own 43-yard line. Handoff up the middle, it goes to Majors, and Majors across midfield to the Mustang 49, and that's enough for another Monett Cub first down.
Majors gave Junior Eliam a ride of about 3 yards there, but finally Eliam brought him down, but not until another first down for the Cubs. This time, 1st and 10 at the Mustang 49.
Tell you, if the Cubs can avoid turnovers, they can wear out the Mustangs tonight on the ground. Brink from the 49 will take the snap, and he'll give to Majors again. And Brendan just putting his head down and plows to the 43-yard line for a gain of 6.
This time it's number 82, Jackson Clarkson, who got the ride from Majors.
There is a flag on the play, however. It's setting at, well, the line of scrimmage around the 49.
Cubs are giving ground, so obviously it's against the Cubs.
Well, I said avoid turnovers. You need to avoid penalties as well, and this is going to be a 10-yard penalty that's marked off against the Cubs. Check that, 15 yards, so
he
it's a
signaled personal foul. And I thought chop block.
Yeah,
yeah.
Chop block, where one guy holds the guy up high and another one comes lower. 1st and 25 now for the Cubs as they're way back inside their own 40. Brink back to pass, fires near side, and overshoots Dylan Lynch, who took a big hit as he went up high to get it. The incompletion will bring up 2nd down and 25.
Dylan was open, but Keegan Driscoll got there just after the ball went over Dylan's hands and gave him a really hard shot. It was a good legal shot. But if the ball had been down, it should have been a completed pass.
2nd down and 24, I believe, would be more like it here as the Cubs need to get to the Mustang 39-yard line. Carter Brink under center takes the snap, back to pass, rolls to the right. He's in a peck of trouble. He needs to protect that ball. He throws it late, and fortunately it falls incomplete. Brink got rid of that ball at the last second, but it was up for grabs there.
He did a great job of avoiding the sack and found a bare spot on the field where it wasn't intercepted. He didn't have the time to put the ball where he wanted it. He just, and we have a flag.
Face
match penalty against the Mustangs. So the Cubs get most of that yardage back that they lost on their personal foul.
Yeah, you give and take in this sport, and the Cubs gave up 15 yards. They got it right back, and it'll be 2nd down and 9 for Monett now. Could have been 3rd and 24. Instead, it's 2nd down and 9. Obviously, much more manageable for the Cubs. Brink takes the snap, back to pass, has time, throws. It's going to be intercepted by the Mustangs, and this might go the other way. To the 50, to the 40, and drugged down from behind inside the 30, and now a late flag will add on some yardage, so the Mustangs will have great field position.
Number 56 for the Cubs. That's Harrison Merriman made the tackle, prevented the touchdown.
And then there was another Cub that came in late, and they flagged him for a 15-yard penalty, which will be half the distance to the goal. So when they put this down, it should be somewhere around the 13, 12 and a half. And that's where it will be placed down. So the Mustangs start this drive in the red zone. We'll see if the Cubs can come up with a defensive stop here. They've been plagued with some penalties here in the first half, and we'll see if they can overcome again. Mustangs come out with one wide receiver wide to the right, three bunch to the near sideline. It's a handoff up the middle. It goes to Teague, and Teague is stood up after a short gain down to about the 12. That'll be a gain of 1 yard to bring up second down.
A number of Cubs in on the stop there. Ray Villalta and Hunt, Gunnar Bradley were in on that stop. A gain of about 1, 2nd and 9.
The ball resting at the 12-yard line. Mustangs to the line of scrimmage. They come out with a wide receiver wide left and one to the near side as Martin will work out of the shotgun. Takes the snap, back to pass, looks right, pressured, hit, and down he goes. As he's knocked down at the line of scrimmage, it'll bring up third down and long.
Brandon Majors in on the stop. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10 for the Mustangs.
A loss of 1 on that, so it'll go down as a sack. The Cubs now with 3 sacks in the contest. A big one there. 3rd down and 10 from the 13. Mustangs come out with a receiver near side. Keep an eye on them. I believe that's Alec over here. Martin will work out of the shotgun, and now the Mustangs having some confusion and a timeout called by Martin to avoid a penalty. So timeout on the field. We'll keep it right here. 3:40 left, second quarter action. Monett on top, 21-0. Just a reminder that this game being brought to you in part by Quick Draw Gun, featuring one of the area's largest selections of guns, ammunition, and reloading supplies. Located at 601 Kyler and Monett, your hometown gun store. Tonight's second quarter brought to you by Cox Health Monett. Cox Health, the official sports medicine provider for Monett High School athletics. Well, Leonard, a big play here for the Cub defense, actually a couple of big plays. Now, you know, one of the things we talked about coming down, one of the featured players for the McDonald County Mustangs is their kicker. So they do have a weapon there.
But when you're down 21-0, you know, a field goal doesn't sound that appealing, but it may be better, you know, it's better than nothing. So we'll see if the Cubs can hold the Mustangs out of the end zone and keep them off the scoreboard.
3rd down and 10 upcoming for the Mustangs from the 13-yard line. Cole Martin, the quarterback, takes the snap. He'll pitch it. And the Cub defense all over the running back, Tariq. Tariq thrown down back near the 20-yard line. It's going to be 4th down and long.
Gunnar Bradley had penetrated and was sitting there waiting for that ball carrier and dropped him in his tracks for a loss of about 6 or 7 on the plays. And we talked about the field goal, and their Mustangs are lining up for a field goal attempt.
From the 25-yard line, so it'll be a 35-yard attempt. Snap back, ball down, the kick is up. It is not long enough as it comes up short. The kick attempted by Jared Mora falls just short, and the Cubs come up with a defensive stand.
The snap was low that threw off the timing on that. That may not have been the kicker's fault, and then he didn't have enough distance to get it there after that.
1st and 10 Cubs from the 20. As a missed field goal basically becomes a touchback, so the Cubs will take over from the 20 with 3:01 left in the second quarter. A rapidly played first half thus far. And the ready for play signal whistle is blown, and here we go on 1st and 10. Brink under center. will give on a dive play to Majors, and Majors refusing to go down, backpedals his way across the 25 to the 26. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
Garrett Grix held him up and finally got him down, but not until Majors had picked up about 6 yards, almost 7. We'll call it, well, 2nd and a long 3.
Ball almost to the 27-yard line. The clock rolls with 2.5 minutes left here before intermission. Brink will work under center. He'll give on a jet sweep. That is Umfleet. Umfleet out near the 30-yard line is pushed back from there, but if he hits the 30, it'll be enough for a Cub first down.
Garrett Grix and number 1, that is Trent Alec on the stop. Just short of the yard or line to gain, 3rd and less than a yard.
Well, will this be a sneak or will this be Majors? We'll see here. Brink under center, takes the snap, and he gives to Majors. Majors will have the first down, even though he was hit in the hole. Good effort there by the Mustangs.
It looked for a minute like the Mustangs were going to stop it, but Majors spun off of that first contact, fell forward enough to get the 1st and 10.
Clock rolls inside 1:40 left here before halftime. You might look for the Cubs to put it in the air here if they're looking to get another score here before halftime. Cubs come out with 2 receivers wide to the right. And Brink will work under center. He takes the snap. He'll pitch to Gwynn, running right side to the 30, to the 35, 40, to midfield. 1 man to beat. He's on his way.
Gone.
20, 10, 5, touchdown, Monett Cubs. There are no flags.
Keegan Driscoll had a good shot at him at about the 35, and Jamie ran through his tackle, burst into the open, and took it to the house.
A 68-yard touchdown run, and the Cubs lead 27-0 on a sweep along the right side. A big play for the Cubs as they increase their lead. Salas on to attempt the PAT. Snap back, ball down, the kick up. It's high enough, it's long enough, but it is no good as he misses it wide left. So with 1:06 left here in the 2nd quarter, the score remains Monett 27 and McDonald County nothing. Just a reminder that that touchdown was brought to you by the law offices of Randall Massery and Randall. If you need an extra point or two from a trusted lawyer, be sure to call them at 235-8688, serving the Lawrence, Berry, and Stone County region. The extra point attempt brought to you by Monett Glass and Mirror. If your car windshield was just cracked by a missed PAT, call Monett Glass and Mirror, or if it shatters, it matters. And finally, the kickoff brought to you by Home Shield Pest Control. With over 20 years of experience, Home Shield can tackle any unwanted insect or pest with an affordable and effective method. Salas tees it up at the 40. He'll be kicking into a pretty good breeze here. Kickoff in the air, high end over end kick that comes down at the 15. It's fumbled and then picked up at the 20, to the 25, out to the 30. As Alec breaks one tackle and then is finally gang tackled. A flag is thrown near the 35. And the return ended near the 25. We'll see what the call is here.
Gunnar Bradley again on the stop.
This is going to be a legal use of hands on the kickoff team. No, he's gonna come back with that and say it's on Mustangs. There you go. So that penalty will be marked off from the end of the attempt. So will be marked off from the 26. And a 10-yard penalty, I believe, will set up shop at the 16. And that's what will happen.
Correct.
The ball placed down at the 16. And McDonald County has it with 56 seconds left. The Mustangs come out with 2 receivers wide left, 2 to the near sideline as well. as Cole Martin, the sophomore quarterback, works out of the shotgun. Back to pass, looks right, throws right, short, caught by Alec, but he's wrapped up after little or no gain.
He was wrapped up by Junior Villa. A gain of about a yard on the play, 2nd and 9 for the Mustangs.
You know, Leonard, as we watch this defensive unit, they just seem to be getting better and better and playing more cohesively with one another.
You're right.
2nd down and 9. Clock rolls inside 30 seconds left. Cole Martin out of the shotgun, takes the snap. He'll give on a dive play to his tailback, Tariq, and Tariq is able to sidestep a couple of tacklers and get out near the 25-yard line.
One of the better running plays by the Mustangs. A good gain. Ethan Umfleet on the stop for the Cubs. But that is the last play of the first half, and the first half ends with the score, Monett 27, McDonald County 0.
Cubs with a pitching another shutout here in the first half. A strong first quarter offensively. Their defense playing tough throughout. Our score at halftime, as Leonard said, Monett 27 and McDonald County nothing. We'll be back with the Monett Cub halftime show after this timeout.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your halftime entertainment, we proudly present McDonald County High School Marching Mustang Band. The band is under the field baton of Drum Major Autumn Honiger and Elena Hawkes. The band is directed by Mr. Joe Wilhelm and Mr. Ray Nimmo. Here is the 2019 edition of the Pride of McDonald County, the Marching Mustang Band.
Back at McDonald County High School, Benji Finsky, Leonard Bauer, Ryan Dasso with you. Here at halftime, the Monett Cubs on top 27-0. And with a look at the first half scoring summary, here is my broadcast partner, Leonard Bauer.
Well, Benji, the Cubs won the opening toss and decided to receive, and it turned out to be a good decision. In very businesslike fashion, the Cubs went right down the field and scored with 10:36 still on the clock. Jamie Gwynn scored on an 11-yard run. Alex Salas kicked the conversion, putting the Cubs up 7-0. Then about 3 minutes later, the Cubs hit the scoreboard again. Carter Brink this time scored on a 1-yard quarterback sneak. Alex Salas kicked the conversion, and that put the Cubs up 14-0. Still in the first quarter with 2:11 left, Brandon Major scored on a 5-yard run. Alex Salas kicked the conversion, putting the Cubs up 21-0. And that's the way the first quarter ended. In the second quarter, the Cubs were slowed down more, had to punt a time or two, and managed with 106 after stopping a McDonald County. McDonald County got an interception, returned it deep, and got a penalty, and started out 1st and 10 from the Cubs' 12. Were unable to advance the ball, attempted a field goal, and it was no good. And then the Cubs got the ball back, and with 106 left in the half, Jamie Gwynn broke free on a 68-yard touchdown run. This time, Alex Salas's kick failed, and that left the score 27-0. And that's the way the first half ended. Monett 27, McDonald County 0.
Thank you, Leonard. And I think one of the most impressive things of that first half was, well, I liked how you explained it, businesslike. They were very businesslike in that first drive, and they really set the tone.
They did that. They the first quarter, they had a couple of penalties that kept them from being flawless, but a very businesslike and efficient first quarter. The second quarter, a few more mistakes, had some penalties, and the interception that endangered their shutout, but they managed to keep it intact.
Yeah, I believe the Cubs had 6 first half possessions, 4 ended in scores. 1 ended with a turnover, 1 ended with a punt. So the Cubs off to a great start here and a good opportunity to get a road victory here at McDonald County tonight. We're going to slip away, hear from some of our outstanding sponsors, and we'll be back with more of the halftime show after this timeout.
Simon Field show, the band would like to close with the sound of silence, and you can call me Al.
McDonald County High School as the wind kicks up out of the south. We are at halftime in this one. Monett on top 27-0. The crowd here at halftime being entertained by the McDonald County High School Marching Band, who's putting on a very good performance here at halftime. It is senior night, the final home game for McDonald County for this season as they go to Seneca next week. Monett will return home and celebrate senior night as they'll take on Nevada, and then it's on to districts. So 2 weeks, Leonard, and it's time for districts, and it appears that the Cubs will have a first round home game, and from there we'll see, but the Cubs have played themselves into a pretty good position.
They have that. It would be nice if they could get 2 first home games in the district play, but there's a good chance that that won't happen. If Cassville doesn't lose again, they will have the advantage over the Cubs, and the Cubs would be seated 3rd and get a home game the first game of the district play. But if all things go the way they should, you'd think they would have to travel for their second game in the district play.
And you know, you think back to week number 1, the loss against Mount Vernon, a game in which really Monett dominated the Mountaineers on the line of scrimmage, but it was, you know, came down to a last second play and a last second 2-point conversion, and that 1-point loss making a big difference in district standings right now.
So big, yes. The Cubs would be in line to be number 1 in the district seedings, possibly, if they had won that game. But, you know, that's in the past. You have to forget about that. But we do know from that game that the Cubs can play with the Mountaineers. And if they get the chance to play them again, I'm sure that they would cherish that opportunity.
Absolutely. And, you know, the Cubs really, their season turned with that victory over Lamar. And I tell you what, from that time on, I think they gained a certain amount of confidence that they can play with anybody. And going on the road down at Seneca and coming away with a win, this team is really starting to come together. And they have an opportunity to make some noise in district play.
Well, and they also showed in the Cassville game that they can play with Cassville. That was the DJ White game. Cubs simply couldn't stop DJ White. If they play him again, I think they will be better prepared for him. He's a tremendous receiver with great speed, and he just literally killed the Cubs. The Cubs couldn't stop him in that game.
You're absolutely right, and it'll be interesting. You know, as we said, if district started tonight, the Cubs would be hosting Hollister, and then, you know, you got to do first things first. You got to take care of business there, and then, you know, you worry about those road games later. Tonight here on the road, in a place that's been tough to play, Cubs have handled business thus far in the first 2 quarters, up 27-0. And again, it's that running attack, that 3-headed monster of Gwynn, Umfleet, and Majors. Majors doing early damage, and then a couple of big runs along the end by Gwynn. You got to pick your poison against this offense. Do you shut down the inside running game, or do you shut down the outside? And right now, Monett's having success in both areas.
Right. And one thing that hasn't happened yet is Carter Brink hasn't had a long run yet. He usually does that once a game. He did have the quarterback sneak for the score, but he's always pitched or handed off. And sometime here in the second half, although the starters may not play too much, but if he plays most of the half, I predict that he will keep it for a significant gain too on the ground.
Yeah, he hasn't done that, as he's really utilized Brandon Majors quite a bit tonight, and we'll see what happens here. He's thrown the ball well tonight. He's not got a lot to show for it. He does have that one nice completion to Umfleet, but had a couple other good balls that were thrown that nearly went for major
just
yardage.
Off the hands, and the interception, I think he simply did not see that defender. His pass was on target to get to the receiver, but a defender stepped in front and picked it off. And remember, he has trouble seeing around those big linemen. And I think he didn't see the defender, but the pass would have been on the money, but the defender stepped in front and picked it off.
And then looking at the Cub defense, they continue to dominate the line of scrimmage, and they're able to get pressure on the quarterback. Tonight, however, I think that defensive backfield has done a good job locking down receivers for the most part and giving the front an opportunity to get to the quarterback.
Right. There have been times where their quarterback had quite a bit of time and just simply could not find a receiver. Their success has been on a quick pass to the outside before the Monett rush can get there. And they've picked up a couple of 1st and 10s. Their quarterback can throw the ball, but he hasn't had time to throw it downfield most of the time. And the Cubs have had good coverage downfield.
We are at halftime at McDonald County. We're going to slip away here from more of our sponsors tonight. A reminder that our score here at intermission, Monett 27, McDonald County nothing. We'll be back with more of the halftime show and set the stage for the second half after this timeout. Throughout the season, the Talon Sports Network is honored to offer special giveaways to our faithful listeners. Tonight, if you are the first person to call 417-489-2277 and say Go Cubs, you will receive 2 certificates to the Monett B&B Theaters. Again, the first caller to call 417-489-2277 and say Go Cubs, you will win 2 passes to the B&B Theaters in Monett. A big thank you to B&B Theaters for sponsoring that giveaway. Just a reminder as we head toward the third quarter brought to you by Arvest Bank. Arvest Bank offers competitive loan rates with an easy application process. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Later tonight, Leonard and I will be selecting the player of the game, sponsored by Crowder College in Neosho. With over 50 years of successful graduates, Crowder College is committed to academic excellence. Crowder College, where you are the difference. Leonard, we need to be thinking about that.
I have, and I don't have a definite candidate in mind yet. There are a number of possibilities, but I haven't picked out one that just stood out that much to received that designation yet. So it's still to be decided here in the second half.
And you know what? That in itself speaks to the strength of the Cubs right now, as to where you have a number of players, or a well-rounded
Right.
team that's playing a ball game. So this is a Cub defense, or offense or defense, that doesn't rely just on a single person.
True.
And that's a sign of a very, very good team. Both teams back out onto the field as they're going through mandatory warm-up here before we start the second half. We're going to slip away rather quickly, and when we come back, it'll be time for the second half kickoff here on the Talon Sports Network. Back after this timeout. Back at McDonald County High School at halftime, Monett leads 27-0. Both teams back out onto the field and headed toward their respective sidelines. We're just moments away from the second half kickoff. A big thank you to so many of our sponsors tonight. This game being brought to you in part by Quick Draw Gun, Home Shield Pest Control, the law offices of Randall Mastery and Randall, Crown Power and Equipment, Monett Glass and Mirror, Crown Double K Realty, Cox Health Monett, Arvest Bank, JMB Trucking, Access Family Care, and Crowder College in Neosho. Speaking of those sponsors, one that brings us sportsmanship is Access Family Care. The score of any contest is generally forgotten over time, but the actions of players, coaches, and fans may leave lasting impressions. The next time you attend a high school game, think of how you will be remembered. Be sure to choose good sportsmanship. This message brought to you, as I said, by Access Family Care, providing high-quality medical and general dentistry care throughout Southwest Missouri. So a big thank you for our sponsorship mentions this year. The Mustangs out onto the field, clad in their red jerseys and white pants. Monett now onto the field as well. Monett will be kicking it away as they won the opening toss and elected to receive back in the first quarter. So the Cubs will kick it off and have the wind to their back as the breeze has stopped momentarily. Salas will tee it up at the 40. And we are ready for second half action here from McDonald County. Kickoff is in the air. It's a low line drive kick that skids to the 7, return to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, and out to about the 22-yard line, and that's where the Mustangs will set up shop, 1st and 10.
And as usual, I think it was
Gunnar Bradley,
Gunnar Bradley
yeah.
made the stop. He got some help from Nate Irvin, but Gunnar made the main part of the hit. Good coverage of the kickoff by the Cubs. The Mustangs will put the ball in play at about their own 23.
Quarterback is Cole Martin, as we said, a 5'11", 190-pound sophomore. Steps into the huddle, calls the play, and now Mustangs to the line of scrimmage. Martin will work out of the shotgun with a pair of backs with him and an offset eye. Here's a handoff to the fullback. Up the middle it goes, and a good hard run between the tackles for the Mustangs. And it's Junior Ilium with a run here, a gain of nearly 5 yards.
Junior Villa on the stop for the Cubs, but that's one of the better running plays that the Mustangs have had tonight.
Second down upcoming, wide receiver split wide to the right, 2 to the near sideline. Again, that offset eye look, and it'll be the second man through on a dive play this time. That is Tierick. Tierick stood up as he gets to about the 30-yard line. A gain of a couple to bring up 3rd down. Third down and 3 for the Mustangs. Ball resting right at the 30-yard line. Just underway here in the second half. 10:50 and counting. Cubs on top 27-0. Single back now beside the quarterback. And Martin looks to the sideline, and a timeout is called by McDonald County, and we'll keep it right here and remind you that the third quarter is being sponsored by Arvest Bank. Arvest Bank is committed to Monett and here to support the community. Local decisions, local commitment, Arvest Bank, member FDIC.
Benji, the Cubs are in a 3-man front with Tanner Wright and Ray Vialta and Brandon Majors. At this time, the 3 defensive linemen up front that they've been doing a great job. Occasionally they'll jump into a 4-man front, but right now it's those 3 bearing the brunt of the McDonald County offensive linemen.
Third down and 3. Martin out of the shotgun, back to pass. With time then creamed in the backfield as the Cubs defense got there, and I think that was Cole Davis.
It was Cole Davis. Brandon Majors was just about to get him, but Cole got him before Brandon could. Tremendous defensive play, and quarterback Martin is limping off the field.
Yeah, I think he might have had a cramp or something after he's pulling his toe up, but I'm telling you what, I don't use the word creamed very often, but
he was creamed.
That was a big hit there. And credit to the sophomore signal caller as he's able to get to the sideline. And they haven't moved the yard marker.
No, they haven't moved the yard marker.
No, there wasn't a fumble. There was a sack, however, and a loss of about 8 yards. It's 4th down and 11. And the Mustangs will kick it into the breeze. The punter standing at his own 10-yard line. Snap back is a good one. The kick away is a high booming kick that sends Carvazos back to the 41, and he's able to return it out to the Cub 46. 5-yard return, and the Cubs will set up shop in great field position.
Trent Alec was the only Mustang down the field, and he made a great tackle there to prevent the Cubs from getting a better run back. Looked like Cavazos was going to have some room, but he couldn't get by number 1, Trent Alec, who brought him down. So Cubs put the ball in play, still in good field position at their own 46-yard line.
Dylan Lynch wide to the right. One wide receiver far side as well, Cravassos. Dive play. Majors rumbles his way to Mustang territory just inside the 50. A gain of about 4 yards, and it'll be 2nd down and 6.
Tackled there by Jack Teague. Teague is a 5'11", 175-pound linebacker.
2nd down, 6 for the Cubs. Again, 2 receivers, 1 to each side. Brink will work under center. He takes the snap and running the option pitches late to Gwynn, who spins away from a tackle. He'll have a 1st down and more. A nifty run there by Gwynn, who could have been thrown for a loss. Instead, he turns it into a positive play.
What a move by Gwynn. He was finally run out of bounds by Junior Eliam, but it looked like it was a foolish pitch by Brink. When he pitched it to Gwynn, there was a tackler right on top of Gwynn, but Jamie spun out of it and made a big, considerable gain out of it. 1st and 10 for the Cubs.
That brought to you by Southwest Missouri's Case IH dealer, Crown Power and Equipment. 1st and 10 Cubs from the 38. Dive play between the guards this time. Majors is tripped up and falls forward to about the 33. That'll be a gain of 4, bringing up 2nd down and 6.
Garrett Grix on the stop for the Mustangs.
Ball resting just outside the 33-yard line. Clock rolling, 9:08 left here, 3rd quarter. Monett on top, 27-0. Brink looks over the defense. He'll take the snap and call his own number as he's able to spin his way to about the 30. He'll pick up about 3 yards, and it'll bring up 3rd down for the Cubs.
Jack Teague on the stop. Carter was hoping to follow Brandon Majors through a big hole there, but Teague stepped in and filled it. But there was still a gain on the play. Brings up 3rd and 3 for the Cubs.
And the Cubs here with the ball at the 30 and 4 down territory. On 3rd and 3, Majors the lone back. Here's a jet sweep going to Umfleet as he spins across the 30 and leans forward to about the 26. That should be enough for a Monett Cub 1st down.
The Mustangs did a good job of keeping Umfleet from getting to the outside, but he spun up back toward the middle, and Caden Campbell brought him down, but not until Ethan Umfleet picked up the 1st and 10 for the Cubs.
The ball down at the 26-yard line. 1st and 10 Cubs with 8 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. Receiver split left and right. Carter looks over the defense. He'll take the snap, back to pass, rolls right, throws right, intended for Cravassos, and it's tipped away at the last second. Good defensive effort there by the Mustangs.
Better than good. That was an excellent defensive effort by number 1, Trent Alec. The ball was right on the money to Cavazos, but Alec jumped up and slapped it away just as it got there. So.
Tell you what, Alec, while not big, is a really good athlete. He's made some good plays on both sides.
Yes.
2nd and 10 from the 26. Another well-thrown ball for Brink that falls incomplete. On 2nd down, Brink running the option, gives to Majors with room. He might go to the 15, 10, 5, and drug down just short of the goal line, down to the 1-yard line.
I think that's the 2nd time he's gotten down to that area, just short. A great run by Brandon. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Cubs from the 1. Brandon deserves to carry this in.
This visit to the red zone brought to you by JMB Trucking. All the way down to the 1-yard line, so they're knocking on the door again.
The fewer times the ball changes hands, the safer the play. That's why the quarterback sneak is about the safest play you can run. There's one exchange from the center to the quarterback, and if the quarterback holds onto the ball, why, it's a pretty safe play. So that's why it's good in a situation like this. But I am fully confident that Brandon Majors can take it in if the handoff is good.
Cubs come out in a wishbone formation. Brink works under center, and he'll turn and give it to his second man through, and that's Umfleet who walks in. Umfleet from 1 yard out.
I believe that was Gunnar Bradley.
You're right. I'm sorry. It was Gunnar Bradley.
It's where Umfleet lines up usually, but it was Gunnar from Bradley that time, 27 instead of 25.
You're right. Bradley scores from 1 yard out, and he went in untouched that time. It was a wishbone look, which is different for the Cubs.
Right.
And Bradley, running behind his other two backs, stepped into the end zone for the score. So the Cubs lead at 33-0, and they're going for 2 here to try to get it to 35. Brink working under center, brings Umfleet in motion, takes the snap, back to pass, throws into the end zone and overshoots his intended receiver, which was Cavazos, and the 2-point conversion is no good. And the difference that makes is it keeps us from going to turbo clock, Leonard.
Yes.
So the missed extra points have coming back to haunt us.
Not going to get home as early as we had hoped.
Well, speaking of which, it's 8:30, and that's cue for me to remind everybody that they're listening to the Monett Cubs on KKBL Radio, 95.9 FM in Monett, Missouri. 7:17 left here in the third quarter. The Cubs on top 33-0 in a game that they've dominated throughout. They got off to a very quick start, scoring in their first 3 drives, and scoring in their first drive here in the second half as well. Salas tees it up at the 40. A pair of backs deep for the Mustangs, Alec and Tariq. Salas to kick it away. A low line drive kick that's scooped up at the 11-yard line. Return to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, out to the 30, and across the 35. So a nice return there by the Mustangs.
Finally knocked down of bounds there by, I believe that it's by number 8, which would be Nate Irvin. It's either 8 or 9, and that far away we couldn't tell for sure. A fine return, though, by the Mustangs, putting them in good field position, starting at their own 40-yard line.
Yeah, 28-yard return along the right side. And the Mustangs are in business here. The quarterback, Cole Martin, into the huddle. And as the Mustangs break the huddle, they'll send 2 receivers to the near side and 1 to the far side. Martin takes the snap. He'll give on a dive play with some running room out to about the 44, but the ball came loose, and the Cubs will come up with a turnover.
I believe you're right. We couldn't see the ball that far away, but that's exactly what happened. A good run for the Mustangs, but then the fumble and the Cubs recovered, and I can't tell you who recovered it.
No, I do know that Tariq fumbled the ball, and it spun backwards toward the sideline, and the Cubs able to get on top of it at the Mustang 42. So back to work comes the offense, scoring just seconds ago. They'll have it 1st and 10 from the 42. A reminder that this third quarter being brought to you by Arvest Bank. Wide receiver split wide to the left as Brink sets the front. And he'll turn and give on a dive play. Left side running room to the 35, to the 30, to the 25, 20. And finally run out of bounds there. A good hard run. And the Cubs are close to the red zone once again. Ethan Umfleet with a big run there of 20 yards, and the Cubs have yet another first down.
Keegan Driscoll knocked him out of bounds, but a big gain by the Cubs. 1st and 10 from the Mustang 22.
Remember that all first downs brought to you by Crown Power and Equipment, north of Monett on H Highway. Wishbone formation for the Cubs here as the ball is given to Umfleet again. Running left side, he skips his way inside the 20 down near the 16. That'll be a gain of 5, maybe 6 yards. It'll be second down. And the Cubs enter the JMB Red Zone. If you need to deliver results, be sure to call JMB Trucking at 847-1307.
Gain of 7 on the play, 2nd and 3 for the Cubs.
From the 16-yard line, option play. Late pitch goes to Gunnar Bradley, I believe. And
Right.
Gunnar is knocked down, and it looks like Carter Brink. Is that Carter Brink that's coming up?
Trent Alec on the stop for the Mustangs.
You don't want to see this, Leonard.
No, Carter Brink is grabbing an ankle.
Brink on his back near the 23-yard line. He made a late pitch. And then was hit. And right now, a lot of folks wondering what happened here. The Cubs could ill afford to lose their senior quarterback. And you hate to speculate what the issue. He was grabbing for an ankle, however.
Right. Carter has been so tough and resilient through the years that he's very small in stature, but he's managed to avoid injury. I said through the years because this is the 3rd year he's been the starting quarterback for the Cubs.
Yeah, it'll be different, saying a different signal caller, because he has been very durable throughout the years. He split time his sophomore year and then moved into pretty consistent starting role the last couple of years, and he's really led this offense. So you hope that whenever this injury is, it's not too severe. But again, you hate to speculate here. It does appear that he's coming to his feet. Yes. He's going to be helped off.
Yeah, he's not putting weight on that left leg. The left ankle is the one that he grabbed.
So it'll be Junior Cavazos that will step in now. Well, hopefully we'll get good news. On Carter later in the evening when we talk it over with Coach Ewell. And we'll return to action here on 3rd down. 3rd and 4 for the Cubs as they have it at the 16-yard line. They need to get down to the 12. Cavazos will, I believe that's Cavazos.
It is, yes.
He takes the snap and he gives to Umfleet running left side to the 15, still on his feet to the 10, drugged down from behind there, and he comes up lane.
And the tackler for the Mustangs is still down.
Oh my goodness, and back-to-back plays. The Cubs have lost 2 of their backs. Umfleet not putting any weight on his right foot.
And Michael Williams for the Mustangs is still down out there. So 3 players hurt on the last 2 plays.
Man, you hate to see that. You don't want injuries anytime, but especially late in a season as teams gear up for
Williams is walking fairly normally now, so it looks like his injury is not very significant, but Umfleet is a tough character, and he was not putting much weight on that one leg at all after he hobbled up after the play. 1st and goal for the Cubs now from the 9-yard line.
You might see a lot of Brandon Majors now between the tackles. We'll see. Cavazos will run the quarterback position now. He takes the snap and he gives to Majors. Up the middle he goes and into the end zone. Touchdown, Monett Cubs. And the Cubs go on top 39-0. And that a 10-yard, no, I'm sorry, what was it, a 9-yard scamper? And the Cubs go on top 39-0 here, and they may very well go for two here because their holder is sitting over on the sidelines.
That's true.
With a injured ankle. Sitting over there on the sideline. Not really anybody attending to him, however. Leonard over there on the sideline. Cubs are going to talk it over here. 39-0 our score with 5:36 left. Majors scoring from 9 yards out. And the Cubs comfortably in the lead. However, the worry now is the welfare of a quarterback and a running back. In back-to-back plays, Carter Brink and Ethan Umfleet went to the sidelines with injuries. And I think they're working on Umfleet over here behind the 25-yard line, Leonard. You can't really see it now, but when the players moved, I think someone's down working with Ethan. We'll just have to wait and see.
Right. But those two players are really key players to the Cubs, Carter Brink and Ethan Umfleet.
And some additional personnel over to that sideline, so we'll see what comes of this.
The Cubs have been rather fortunate this year to avoid injuries for the most part. They've missed Wes Merriman for a lot of the year, and their backup quarterback, Dylan Smith, has been out much of the year. But for the and they're taking a stretcher across to the far side, Benji.
Oh my. They are. There's a stretcher that's going across behind the end zone.
I assume that's for Umfleet, probably.
Well, as we take this injury timeout, we're going to slip away here from some of our sponsors, and we'll come back with more third quarter action after this timeout. The stretcher's coming back empty, isn't it, Leonard?
It is.
I believe that.
I saw him lift someone on the table over there.
Yeah, I think it was Ethan Umfleet that went. There's not enough room on the trainer's table right now. As Brink and Umfleet are both over there, but he moved to the trainer's table and he wasn't going to go out on the stretcher. And the Cubs will come back into play, leading 39-0.
And looks like they're going to go for one, kick the extra point.
Snap back, ball down, the kick up. It's high enough, it's long enough, and it is good. I'm trying to see who was the holder that time. It was Brink.
Was it?
It looked
I
like
hope
him.
it was. If it was, that's great.
It looked like he was, and the kick was good, so the Cubs go on top 40-0 with 5:36 left here in the third quarter, and we'll move into turbo clock shortly. And, we just cross our fingers for the health and welfare of Brink and Umfleet.
Right.
Cubs on top big here at McDonald County. Sal Statita up at the 40-yard line. He'll kick it left to right as we look on. Leonard and I in the great outdoors. Ryan, pretty well used to that over the years. He's usually on top of a press box somewhere. Low line drive kick that bounds its way to the 11-yard line. Return to the 15, to the 20, out across the 25 to the 30, 35. And that's where the Mustangs will take over 1st and 10.
A sure tackle there by Tanner Wright on the stop.
Cubs on top by 40. The clock rolls with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. We'll check out new defensive backs in for the Cubs, I'm sure. Won't see Brink in there on the defensive side. Here comes a dive play, and the Cub defense ready for that. Short gain on first down. It'll be 2nd down and long for the Mustangs.
Ray Villalta and Alex Salas on the stop for the Cubs. No gain, 2nd and 10.
I see Miles Lanning in the defensive backfield now, and I think Cole McCullough may be over there as well on the far side. 2nd down and 10 for the Cubs. The Mustangs come out with 4 wide receivers. Here's a dive play to the tailback. Up the middle he goes, knocked down after a short gain. That was a run by Tariq. Tariq gains only a foot or so. It's 3rd down and nearly 10.
I think Junior Villa caught him from behind. No gain on the play, 3rd and 10 for the Mustangs.
As they break huddle, the clock rolls with 3:40 left here in the third quarter. Martin will work out of the shotgun. Takes the snap, back to pass, looks to the left, throws to the left, slant pattern caught. 1st down for the Mustangs out near midfield.
Excellent play. Finally brought down by Trevon Price and Junior Villa, but a perfect throw and a good catch and a good play for the Mustangs.
Nice catch there by Dylan Allison. Did a slant in front of the defensive back. Good enough for a 1st down out to the Mustang 49-yard line as we hit the 3-minute mark here of the third quarter. Here's sweep coming near side, and a form tackle there. Gunnar Bradley with a tackle.
Takedown by Bradley, the wrestler.
As he met Jack Teague and knocked him down. A flag thrown on the play. It's a legal procedure against the Mustangs here. I'm not sure why the clock has stopped, but it is. 5-yard penalty being marked off.
I'm not sure why the Cubs took that penalty either. Bradley was waving to wave it off.
Yeah.
It was a loss of a yard or two, but this way they did pick up 5, so it'll be 1st and 15 for the Mustangs.
As the clock is rolling once again, the Mustangs come out with 2 receivers wide to the right, 1 to the near sideline. Now motion. Ball is not handed off. It is actually thrown to the right side. Cubs on the receiver there. A good hard run, and he loses the ball out of bounds. That was Trent Alec. Alec able to pick up 3, maybe 4 yards on the play, but then he fumbled it back and lost most of it. He gains 1 yard.
I believe it's Cole Davis that finally made that tackle, and he looked like he's banged up, but he's not leaving the field. But that was Cole Davis. Tanner Wright put a heck of a hit on the ball, fake ball carrier that they faked to, but he didn't have the ball, unfortunately, but Tanner really flattened him.
2nd and 14 from the 45-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Martin sets up the screen. It's caught there by Teague. Teague on his feet is drugged down at the 49-yard line. Good coverage there by the Cubs. Good pursuit by that defensive unit, a gain of only about 4 yards.
Excellent pursuit. Brought down by number 20, Miles Lanning. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10 for the Mustangs.
I tell you, a name you've been calling quite a bit tonight's Cole Davis, too. He's playing a pretty good game on the defensive side.
True, but the whole defense is. Junior Villa is, I called his name quite a bit.
That's right.
It's, you know, a great team defense.
3rd down and 10 for the Mustangs from their 49-yard line. Back to pass. Martin throws it left side, has a man, but it is intercepted.
Trayvon Price finally got an interception. Good for him. I was hoping that would happen.
Trayvon Price with great coverage went up high to intercept that one, and the Cubs will take over at their own 17-yard line.
You're right. Price was actually beat by a step, but because of his superior height, he was able to reach up and pull it down before it got to the intended receiver. It was a well-thrown ball, but a great interception by Trayvon Price. Turns the ball over to the Cubs, 1st and 10 from their own 17-yard line. And that's going to be the last play of the 3rd quarter.
It is. Our score after 3, Monett 40, McDonald County nothing. Back with the final 12 minutes after this timeout.
So at the end of the 3rd quarter, the Monett Cubs will start 1st and 10 from their own 16-yard line. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like you to direct your attention to the track in front of the home stand. We would like to send a special congratulations to the district Class 3 District 12 softball champions, the McDonald County Lady Mustangs. Give a round of applause for the Lady Mustangs. Majors on the carry, finally drugged down by Trent Leak and Garrett Griggs. Once again, a big round of applause for our Lady Mustang softball team, the Class 3 District 12 champions.
Congratulations to Grady Airborne of Full City, who won
Junior Medium on the tackle. Majors on the carry. Not only do we want to congratulate our district softball champs, but we would like to congratulate Miss Lily Allman, our sectional golf champion, who will be going to play in the state finals on Monday and Tuesday. McCoy Akasi on the tackle, bringing up 3rd and a long 2 for the Cubs. Number 21, Corbin McCulley on the carry up the field. That's enough for a Monett first down. All the way into McDonald County territory at the 49-yard line.
That tackle was made by number 63. The first and 10 for the Cubs. The Cubs have mainly second team players in the game right now. The starters on offense and probably the rest of them on offense.
On the tackle is number 21, Corbin McCulley. Gain of about 4, bringing up 2nd and 6. Dryer into the tackle. It's enough for another Monett first down all the way down to the McDonald County 43-yard line.
We had that situation where one man going back and putting number on the tackle. Good hard run for a first down down to the Mustang 33-yard line. That's enough to beat the receiver. Young under center takes the snap. Looks the left just again up the middle he goes. Is forward inside the 30 to the 29. That'll be good enough for a gain of 4 yards. Brought down by Garrett Rhodes. Making a lot of tackles.
Garrett Grickson on the tackle. Pick up a 4.
Defensive line. Give on Jet Street on the right side. 25 enough for a first down.
Ty Duchard on the right side, enough for Monett. All being spotted in the 22-yard line.
Continuing to drive the ball down the field. The clock rolls. 7 minutes left in the contest. Two receivers drive to the near sideline. Wilkes is running back. Young takes the snap and a big left side. He goes, breaks the tackle and drives inside the 15 over the 14 for a gain of 4 yards. Brought down by number 24, Junior.
Stuart Phelps on the carry. Tackle made by Kyle Hook. Brings up 2nd and 2.
Let's see if he gets it good here on 2nd down. And looks over the defense. He will give it Walters. And Walters will have another first down as he drags the tackle down inside the 10-yard line. And the Cubs well within the game lead in red zone. Number 82.
down, number 15, Cy Richard. Extra point by Salas is good. Junior Tariq, turn a leak, back deep. Talon's kicking off. Turn a leak on the return, tackle made by Gunnar Bradley.
Boy, he has been everywhere on special teams.
He has that. He's got to be a candidate for player of the game,
I
too.
agree with that. First and 10 for McDonald County as we hit the 2.5-minute mark. Out of the shotgun, here's a handoff to the tailback, out to the 40-yard line for a gain of 5. It'll bring up 2nd down and 5.
I'm trying to decide whether. No, the Mustangs still have their first unit in. I thought maybe they'd gone to their second unit too, but
Well,
they haven't.
They have some a new back in. He's run a couple of times here in a row. That's Omar Manuel that's running it. He gained a yard, and it's 3rd down and 4. As we are inside 2 minutes, just a reminder, you're listening to Monett Cub football on KKBL 95.9 FM in Monett. Here's a dive play. No, the quarterback keeps it himself, and he'll have the 1st down. The Mustangs carried out the fake very well with the quarterback. He kept it himself. Cole Martin, he hasn't run the ball very much tonight, but that was very effective.
Drew Gwynn and Cole McCullough on the stop for the Cubs.
Here is an option play, and Martin will have another 1st down as he pounds down inside the 35, down to the 33.
Finally tackled there by Drew Gwynn. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. Will they make it to the goal line with 1 minute left?
Out of the shotgun, here's a dive play to the big fullback, and that's Junior Eliam. Eliam down to about the 30-yard line for a gain of 3. Well, if they're going to score, they need to do it in a play or two because that clock is rolling fast. We're inside 40 seconds left in this one. McDonald County comes out with 3 wide receivers, 2 backs beside the quarterback, who's back to pass. Martin looks down the middle, throws deep down the middle and overshoots his man who was open in the end zone. That was Michael Williams, and that may take us to the end of this contest as the clock continues to roll. The Mustangs with it with 15 seconds left.
You're right, the receiver was wide open in the end zone, but he was overthrown.
1 play left in this one. Martin back to pass. Cranks it up, throws to the near sideline, and it is incomplete. And that will take us to the end of this contest. The final score in this one, the Monett Cubs 47, the McDonald County Mustangs nothing. We'll be back with the postgame show after this timeout.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for coming out tonight and supporting us and all our athletes for senior night. Please drive safe.
Back at McDonald County, the Cubs win at 47-0. A big win, but now all eyes turn to Brink and to Umfleet to see how they're going to be hurt in back-to-back plays in the third quarter. And really an unfortunate turn of events. We hope that they're going to be okay. We'll talk it over with the coach, Ewell, here in the postgame. But before we do so, let me turn it over to my broadcast partner, Leonard Bauer, for tonight's scoring summary.
Benji, I want to point out an oddity tonight. Ethan Umfleet did not score tonight. I can't remember a game where he didn't, but and of course he suffered that injury too that was debilitating for his night or damaging to his night. But he played a great game and he made some great runs, but he didn't find the end zone. The Cubs took the opening kickoff, took it right down the field, stuck it in the end zone with 10:36 left in the first quarter. Jamie Gwynn scored on an 11-yard run. Alex Salas kicked the conversion, putting the Cubs up 7-0. About 3 minutes later, with 7:50 left in the first quarter, Carter Brink scored on a 1-yard quarterback sneak. Alex Salas kicked the conversion, putting the Cubs up 14-0. And still in the first quarter, with 2:11 left, Brandon Majors scored on a 5-yard run. This time, Salas's kick, he did kick the conversion, putting the Cubs up 21-0, and that was the first quarter score. In the second quarter, there was only one score with 1:06 left. Jamie Gwynn broke free on a 68-yard touchdown run. This time, the kick failed, and that put the Cubs up 27-0. That's the way the first half ended. In the third quarter, with 7:17 left, Gunnar Bradley scored on a 1-yard run. This time a pass for the 2-point conversion attempt failed. That left the score Monett 33, McDonald County 0. Still in the third quarter with 5:36 left, Brandon Majors scored on a 9-yard run, and Salas kicked the conversion, making the score 40-0, and that's the way the third quarter ended. In the fourth quarter, with the turbo clock running, the Cubs had mainly their second unit on the field, and that unit managed, with 3:56 left, managed to score a touchdown after a couple of nice runs by Jamie Gwynn and come on, Stuart Weltis. Couldn't remember Stuart's name. Kai Bouchard finally scored on a 1-yard run, and Alex Salas kicked the conversion, putting the Cubs up 47-0. The Mustangs threatened against the Cubs' second defense, moved down the field and got within range of throwing the ball into the end zone, and a couple of passing attempts in the end zone were incomplete. Time ran out, and the final score was Monett 47, McDonald County 0.
Thank you, Leonard. Back-to-back 47 spots for the Monett Cubs, back-to-back shutouts for the Monett Cubs defense. A dominating victory here tonight for Monett as they improve to 6-2 on the season and gear up for next week's senior night at Burl Fowler. We're going to slip away, hear from some of our sponsors, and when we come back, the postgame show will continue from McDonald County High School back after this timeout.
I've got to suggest co-MVPs or whatever, outstanding players. Gunny Bradley and Brandon Majors has made terrific plays.
And let's give the offensive line honorable mention because they play good too.
Oh, they're excellent, yes.
So, but
Well,
yeah, I'm with you. Gunnar Bradley was awesome on special teams, especially.
well, and on defense,
Yeah.
too. They even scored a touchdown. So I'm sure they put him in just to reward him whenever they score a touchdown. Uh, you could go with Jamie Glenn. You could go with, the defensive lineman who was outstanding, Ray Vidal, who plays there in the middle and gets into the other spots. The two linebackers, Cole Davis and Junior Villa, both had good games. So that's, when you shut the other team out, everybody on defense is doing their job.
I'd say I'm okay with your two nominations. I think that's great. Brandon Majors and
Gunnar Bradley.
Gunnar Bradley.
They're going to recognize him. They want to give him something they can.
I agree. Back at McDonald County,
Did it come off?
here at Anderson, Missouri, the Cubs victorious 47-0 in this one. Back-to-back weeks of the same score for Monett. But what may be the biggest story of the night is the injuries sustained by two very important Cubs. We'll talk it over with Coach Ewell here momentarily, but in back-to-back plays, the quarterback Carter Brink and one of the outstanding tailbacks, Ethan Umfleet, went down with injury, and hopefully they're going to be okay. As we move along here, it's just a reminder that it's time to talk about tonight's player of the game, and it is sponsored by Crowder College in Neosho. With over 50 years of successful graduates, Crowder College is committed to academic excellence. Crowder College, where you are the difference. And Leonard, tonight's players of the game are.
Well, you pointed out that the offensive line should get at least an honorable mention, but the defensive line should too. So, we need to give them some credit, but we have to pick out one player or one or two. And Gunnar Bradley, he had at least 4 or 5 tackles on kickoffs and fine tackles that prevented gains. He had 3 or 4 great tackles on defense, regular defense. He scored a touchdown. So I think we have to recognize Gunnar as one of the players of the game. And Brandon Majors took advantage of those good holes that the offensive line opened. But my lands, he ran through the Mustangs like a bull through a cabbage patch or something. So Brandon Majors is a We're going to recognize Gunnar Bradley and Brandon Majors, and Brandon also played some defense. So,
yeah, I think 2 good selections there as Gunnar Bradley was all over the field. Brandon Majors really punished the Mustangs between the tackles, and really played strong throughout the game. And one of his best runs of the night was later in the game where he ran for nearly 25 yards but carried a would-be tackler for about 10 of those.
Right.
And just runs so very hard. And so congratulations to Gunnar Bradley and also to Brandon Majors for tonight's Co-Players of the Game award, sponsored by Crowder College in Neosho, Missouri. The Cubs win this one 47-0. Coach Ewell's heading this way. We're just going to keep it right here. I'm going to congratulate him for a victory, and then I'm going to go straight in and ask him. I'm just going to ask him how the kids are and what he knows, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Nevada squad, and then we'll be heading back to Berry County here before long.
I was going to point out you didn't keep statistics tonight because of our outside position with the wind, and it's dark. It's hard to see here. But I'll bet Gunnar Bradley easily had over 100 yards.
You mean Brandon Majors?
I mean Brandon Majors.
Yes.
And he scored 2 touchdowns tonight. Usually he gets down to the end zone and someone else scores. So more justification for Brandon Majors, I think, there.
Yeah, Brandon played a great game tonight and has really been a leader on this team from week 1 on. Coach Ewell making his way up here. I want to say press row, but how about just to the top level of the concrete bleachers? Well, Derek, thanks for coming up, and congratulations on a big win.
Thanks, Benji.
Hey, I'm going to just ask, how are the boys?
I think Junior twisted his ankle. He never really had a twisted ankle before, so the initial, I remember my first ankle sprain, I thought I broke it. I think his is a twisted ankle, and then Ethan, they thought his ankle was broken, thought it was out of socket, but I think he just has bony ankles, and
So-
he had a sprain. So I think we had two pretty bad sprains.
So I thought here all along it was Brink that was injured, but it was not Brink.
No,
No.
not on that one.
Okay, okay.
Brink has a shoulder that's a little dinged up. But,
Okay, but he's fine, but it
yeah.
was, the ankle was
it was Ethan.
Ethan, and then the first injury
Oh, it
was
was Junior.
Junior, but it was back-to-back plays,
Yeah.
Junior. Our vantage point, sometimes it's so hard to see, but you're hoping one's a twisted ankle?
Well, I'm hoping they're both just pretty decent sprains, but we'll
Yeah.
see. They're acting like it's a little more than that, but I'm hoping that it's not.
One thing that you have going for you is the potential maybe next week to obviously you got to rest kids that are injured. I mean, you have no choice, but maybe you'll have that opportunity for an extra week of healing to take place.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they're young and they just heal fast. I mean, we'll see. I mean, you never know how you feel the next day or even on Monday. So they weren't putting any weight on it. I know that, which I kind of wanted to see them put a little weight on it just to kind of test it out. But I said we'll see. I mean, I've had sprained ankles where they looked really bad, and I got back in a week or two. So hopefully that's all it takes.
Well, big victory tonight, and injuries, you'll see how they are to come tomorrow and do that. But tonight, your kids came out and really set the tone from the get-go.
Yeah, and they're kind of a hard bunch to read. I was, we were pretty talkative on the bus, and I didn't know where our focus was, but they're a focused bunch. I mean, they understand kind of what's at stake, and they know that for us to have success, we got to start fast, and they kind of know that that's the recipe to winning football games. And we scored, we scored pretty quick. I think we maybe had 20 in the first quarter again, and that when you can do that, it makes it tough on the other team.
You did you scored in your first 3 possessions, and then scored late in the second quarter to go up 27-0 at halftime, and really kind of took care of business on your first drive in the second half as well to set the tone there. Again, Brandon Majors, man, that kid is tough.
Yeah, I mean we were running. I mean, a lot of those plays were triple option plays, but Carter read it to where the fullback's going to take it, and they weren't called dives, a lot of them. And he had big carries. We were joking with him. He's had quite a few runs where he gets stopped right there at the goal line, and so he was on the sideline, kind of talking about that, and you're giving him some grief for that.
He's carried a lot of would-be tacklers here again tonight and really set the stage. And then we talked about Gunnar Bradley tonight too. He was all over the field on special teams, on defense. I tell you what, he had a good ball game tonight as well.
He really did, and on kickoffs, he seems to be making every tackle on them. Yeah, and then he made a form tackle over here on this
Yeah,
sideline
right
that
over
was
here.
super impressive, just textbook highlight film tackle. But he really has been doing a great job, and then it was good to see him get a touchdown tonight.
Yeah.
Just well deserved, just for a kid that really doesn't ask for the ball, but just a hard-working kid.
And a big interception late in the game. And I know you guys were excited about that.
Yeah, and just super excited for Trayvon. In practice we see him make crazy catches like that. And so it was good to see him come down with a ball that wasn't easy to catch, and he's 6'2" and can jump and all those things. So it was nice to see him have a little success, and their quarterback is going to be a good one. He's only a sophomore and he's got a lot of confidence, and he can throw the football. And so we don't want to play him in the future, but tonight our defense played really well.
Right. And in all sincerity, I'll say this. A mark of your teams over the last 5 years is they get better and better and better throughout the year, and this team's doing the exact same thing.
That's what we're hoping. I mean, I feel like like I said, they're a very confident bunch, and some guys are going to have to step up next week that, I have a feeling that we may not have both those guys. I hope we do, but 2 guys are going to have to step up, if not 4 guys, to fill those shoes. I mean, those are some big shoes to fill. And, I think, the mindset is we always talk about next guy up. But, yeah, I mean, I think our kids are playing better right now than we were in the beginning of the year, and that's always the goal. And, hopefully that continues.
Your second string came in late, and their final drive there got a touchdown as well. You gotta like that as well.
Yeah, and Kai Bouchard he got a touchdown. It was good to see him score. He's had a few injuries this year. He had a concussion, and so I was happy for him as a senior, and got some young guys in. Marcus led them down. He's a freshman at quarterback. He led them down, and did a good job. Sometimes that's not easy to take a snap and hand it off as a young guy. But he had some older linemen in front of him. Then we were able to get some younger linemen in there and punch it in. So I'm learning how to sub a little bit better each week. And I mean, that really, sometimes you just can't do a mass sub. And I thought we did a better job with that.
And I kind of grin about that, but people don't realize how hard that is. I mean, there's a certain timing to it and a certain amount of players you want to get in at a certain time, because you've had situations where you've tried to mass sub and then the offense has actually turned the ball over or led to other scores. So tonight it seemed like it was just a perfect fit.
It was a better flow tonight. The Marshfield, I think it was Logan Rogersville. We didn't do a very good job with just subbing, and it got to be a weird second half, and we don't want to do that again.
No. Back-to-back 47-0 games now on to, it's hard to believe, but week 9 now. I mean, the season has just rolled right by. Nevada coming to Burrow Fowler, senior night for your kids, a big night, and then gearing up for districts.
Yeah, and it'll be senior night. I believe we have 12 seniors, and all of them have contributed to this team, and that's always a fun thing. And I know our underclassmen will play well for them. We kind of make a big deal about that. As, hey, this is their senior night. You want them to play hard. These guys played hard for you when you're a senior, and I expect no different.
And I know you have a great deal of respect for your seniors because, as sophomores, they came in and had a tough season, coming off a state championship year. They had to come back, and they hung with you and came through. And last year started to see some of the fruits of their efforts, and then this year really putting together a really strong season.
Yeah, and like I said, quite a few of them were 3-year starters, and they have a lot of confidence, and you can see that. I mean, I sense it on the sideline, and they're not going to, things aren't going to rattle them like they would, when they were younger.
Well, best of luck as you get ready for week number 9, and hopefully your kids will heal quickly. Hopefully you pray for the power of youth in the next couple of weeks. Good luck next week, and congratulations for tonight.
Thanks, Benji.
Thanks, Coach. We'll be back to wrap it up after this. Back one final time, McDonald County. First thing I need to say, Leonard, before going on, is a huge apology to the Brink family because it's, well, into the Cravassos family. It's Junior Cravassos that hurt his ankle on that
Right.
first play. And Coach Ewell just substituted Junior into the quarterback position that series, and he came up lame, and it was Cravassos, and it was indeed Brink holding for the PATs because he was not injured with the ankle injury. He had a shoulder ding,
Yes.
and hopefully he's going to be okay. But it was actually Cravassos and then followed by Umfleet. So, you know, our best wishes, our prayers go out to both of those young men that they can overcome these injuries and be back as quickly as possible as we get ready for week number 9 and then beyond into the districts. Leonard, your thoughts about tonight's game, your final thoughts here.
Well, I want to point out to our listeners that I just reprimanded Coach Ewell for his uniforms. If we had numbers that were clear that we could read, we would have known that that was Cavazos and not Brink. But from up here, 13 and 19 looked about the same. So, yeah, and we do apologize for that mistake that it was Junior Cavazos that hurt his ankle. I'm just amazed at the Cubs that they have maintained their concentration and their intensity. As you know, you can point out individuals. Jamie Gwynn ran really hard tonight. Brandon Majors ran really hard tonight. Carter Brink did a great job there, you know, and those offensive and defensive linemen on offense, the Merriman brothers and um, Butterworth, and you know, I can't remember who all are there, but and on defense, Ray Vialta and I
Cole
don't-
Davis
Cole-
playing in the middle.
well, Cole Davis at linebacker.
Yeah.
Let me get my program out here. um, Tanner Wright does a great job. And Brandon Majors was there. Alex Salas came in and played in that defensive line. There's a number of players that come in and out there. And then the linebackers are Cole Davis and Junior Villa, the inside linebackers. The outside linebackers are Gunnar Bradley and Jamie Gwynn. And all of those kids are playing so well, and that's why the Cubs have had pitched a shutout the last 2 games.
Yeah, you take a look, Leonard, going back over this 2 back-to-back shutouts. Of course, that shootout down at Seneca. And then Rogersville the week before that was 46-14, but the offense gave up both of those touchdowns because of, you know, what Coach was talking about. So in all reality, 3 of the last 4 games, the defense pitched a shutout. And then the week before that, they held Lamar to 7 points. This defense is starting to click.
It really is. It's, you know, it's just excellent.
So, you know, we gear up now for the Nevada Tigers. Nevada winless coming into tonight, so the Cubs will be heavy favorites in that one, but you take no one for granted. You prepare, and then it's on to the districts after that. But a big win tonight, and glad to bring it to your way on 95.9 FM as the Cubs improve to 6-2. Leonard, thanks a lot. Ryan, thanks a lot. Good night here from McDonald County.
We
been
enjoyed
great.
it. Glad it didn't get any colder than it did. We were comfortable.
Yes, temperature-wise.
Yes.
The bleachers are quite hard. The concrete bleachers are quite hard, but we're going to be okay. We'll make it home all right. Hey, I just want to remind everybody to catch the Coach Ewell Show next Friday evening right here on 95.9 FM. Coach Ewell sat down with Sammy Clapper, KKBL's very own Sammy Clapper, to discuss tonight's victory as well as preview the upcoming game against Nevada. The Coach Ewell Show can be heard right here on KKBL just ahead of our pregame. As we come to the end of tonight's broadcast, I'd like to thank all the fine people here at McDonald County for their hospitality. I'd also like to thank Coach Ewell for coming up and visiting with us here in the postgame show. It's always good to hear from him each and every week. A special thank also goes out to all our sponsors who make this broadcast possible. We cannot do this without your support, so I'm urging all Cubs fans to get out and support these local businesses and let them know how much they are truly appreciated. And finally, a huge thank you to all our faithful listeners out in Cub Nation. Thanks for being with us each and every Friday. during the season. Hopefully you enjoy listening to these games as much as Leonard and I do bringing them your way. Just a reminder that our next football broadcast will be coming your way next Friday evening as the Cubs host Nevada. Pregame set to begin at 6:25 with kickoff scheduled at 7 p.m. from Burrell Fowler Stadium. Once again, our final score from McDonald County tonight, the Monett Cubs 47, the McDonald County Mustangs 0. For my broadcast partner Leonard Bauer and our producer engineer Ryan Dasso, this is Benji Finsky saying thanks for following the Cubs and good night from Anderson.